shit. It's a good sound clip for the season.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what did he say fuck me for? Nelly.
Look at that kicker. That's a big, thick boy kicker. I think it's 61 yards. Let's see if you get it, boy. Yep, 61. Going for you. SEC. Let's go. Make it good. It's good. The kick is good. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. Oh, go wild in that place. Go wild. Oh my gosh. That is wow. Man, I like that thick boy kicker. I want him.
I know you saw that game earlier with the Cowboys, so I just wanted to stop by on my way home. Complete blowout. Yeah, you're in Cowboys Nation. I don't think you know where you're at. America's team, baby. You're in Cowboys country now. All right? I don't know where you came from. It's Cowboys country over here. So you saw that? You saw that today. Man, woo! What can I say? Hey, we did that in our home. It's our home game. Now I'm in front of your home. Check this out. Yeah, go Cowboys, baby.
My little snow bunny be getting active too, man. So, you know what I mean? I know he be doing this thing. Oh, that's
your nickname? That's your nickname? You don't call him C-Mac?
Look at your face was like, what the?
Who's Snow Bunny? You don't call him C-Mac? You call him
nah,
the little Snow Bunny?
I call that's my little snow bunny cuz, man. He be doing this thing and
I'm big. Yeah.
Bro, y'all need help, bro. Who told y'all that? Who told y'all that? J-Mo, that's your fault.
Who is it? Daddy? That's Daddy?
It's goddamn bingo over there. Bring the goddamn ball.
You gonna make it sore with that gun. You gonna make it, yeah, because that's a bruise. It ain't just no soreness, it's a bruise. You gonna aggravate it with the gun. Yeah, just moving, just stretching it. I graduated exercise science. I'm gonna list something, damn it.
What keep you motivated though? Because like people like you don't ever get tired.
Tired of what? Winning?
No bells jingle all the way.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the time. Roll! Time! Roll!
The MVP front runner. If anybody else got to say something different about that, then come see me. I'm right here in Beemore outside the bank. If you got an issue with that, come see me. I'm about that. Big trust. Woo woo. Lamar Jackson in the flesh.
All right, so why do you continually try to get me to say something that doesn't respect one of them? I'm not going to. So quit asking.
You all right? Why? Nick Saban retiring? Huh? Nick Saban retiring? What? It's on ESPN. Oh, no.
Hey Connor, Nate, it's Shane Wells with CNBC. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm going to talk about money because we are the business network and the business of the UFC and all that.
I'll take over from here, Nate. You can bounce. Take a coffee break, Nate. And by coffee break, I mean bring me my coffee.
No. They want you to give us a quick count to 10, both of you gentlemen, if you don't mind, just if you wouldn't mind count to 10.
Nate can only count to 5. 10. Oh. Count to 5, Nate, will you, if you can?
You can't.
Hurry up with that coffee.
Counting. How about
and hurry up with that coffee.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here. 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. Second down. That is the best line I've ever heard out of official.
Go Bulldogs!
Yale Bulldogs.
Wow. Not so fast, midget. Not so fast.
Midget?
Yeah, little guy. Hey, not so fast. I go with Harvard. What's the matter?
What's the most fun thing you did this summer? Play Call of Duty.
Keeper on Auburn, Haley Fagan in the handshake line. Puts her hand down and walking by the Florida coaches, and the head coach, Tim Walton, pushes Fagan in the shoulder right there, and she pushes back. Watch it again. Now you leave somebody hanging a little bit there. So that's not going to happen, and he misses and pushes on the shoulder, and she shoves right back. Player gets the coach.
I don't know. I just throw the ball on the ground. Coach say, hit ball, see ball. I throw the ball on the ground. I get it up. And we win the game, baby. And we win the game. Thanks to the team, though. Thanks for the team. Thanks for the team. Remember that. Thanks for the team. It's not about me. It's about us. It's about us. It's about our family. Like our people.
Are you allowed to date other members of the team, or do you have to wait till the season is over?
What? No, there's nobody on the team like that. No.
So you must realize that you have many fans out in Austria. They see you and they just would do anything to kind of spend a night with you. What do you say to those guys?
I'm not gay, so I'm not going to spend any night with any guy. So
do you have a message to Austria's gay community?
Yeah, I'm not gay, so don't come looking for me.
If you head to the Ravens YouTube channel, you can get a really good look at what that...
I'm fucking tired of this shit. I'm tired of this. It's been 7 years of the same shit. Tired of this shit.
Are you in this game? Let him handle it. Let him handle it, damn it. Well, let him handle it. Let him handle it. Oh, you shut the fuck up and let him handle it. Don't tell me nothing. You understand? Get shit off the fucking sideline. Push it on my... You don't push on my damn...
Guys, and press it out. Reach the arms up. Puff your chest. Arch the upper back. Look back. Good. And bring it up. Oh. You guys.
Took a few more here for Lamar. Mike Jones? Lamar, there was that point in the season where you guys lost 3 straight, 4 or 5.
Mike Jones. Mike Jones. That's it. Mike Jones. That's it right now. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right.
I don't even know what to do. Wrestling?
No.
How much was it?
I don't know. 721. That's strong. I know you did.
$721.
Just told us.
Oh my. Oh.
What the?
Are you a cat or a dog guy?
Neither.
Really? Do you have any pets?
I have a dog, but I don't.
But you're just not a
It's technically not. It's not my dog, but it's my dog.
Yeah. All right. So you're more of a dog guy than a cat guy.
No.
Are you just not a pet guy?
I don't like pets.
I'm with you. What the heck? He doesn't like pets either.
We're on the same page.
Why? Why don't you like pets?
They're a nuisance.
Yeah, I just don't. They're just sloppy.
They're sloppy.
Yeah.
Some dogs are sloppy. Some dogs don't slobber, and they're not sloppy at all.
No, all dogs are
You just need to meet the right dog, Devontae.
Yep. Hey man, how's it going? Are you Jake?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, so someone called in reference to your Facebook post.
The eagle floss, man.
I know. So
I'm fine. The eagle floss and the dogs are barking.
I got you. You don't plan on hurting yourself?
No, the fucking Jalen Hurts threw 3 goddamn. Turn the ball over 6 times, man.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. I appreciate it. All right. Take it easy.
Are you going to school tomorrow?
I don't know.
Is he going to school tomorrow?
No, he ain't making it. What do you get out of competition with the defense?
Can I say something about your outfit, though? You got a lot of bananas on. I would not put on that many bananas on me. You must be a banana guy, I'm assuming, right?
Ask him where you buy it from.
You really want to know?
Yeah. No, you didn't.
Did you know that people shop there?
No, I didn't actually. Hey, man, if you like it, I love it, brother.
I'm like, bro, Cowboys supposed to be playing tonight. What the fuck is going on? I got my hat on, I got my jersey on, I got my forces on, I got my swag on, I done prayed to my Jesus, everything.
Damn, I gotta go out here for hands. Now I gotta go out here for hands. Damn. Hey, you good? All right, catch your breath and get that back out there now. Ain't nothing but a little snot. Little snot coming up out of them. I need to put this on my head. I ain't trying to get sick now. Damn wind. Out the route. No. Damn, why my hands so loose? I'm cold as hell. My hands froze. Take my ass inside. It's cold to them. Ah, chill. That's a bruise. It ain't just no soreness. It's a bruise. You're gonna aggravate it with the gun.
I'm gonna talk to that.
I graduated exercise science. I'm gonna listen something. Damn. You getting your ass out here, you finna block.
I ain't blocking.
No, you getting your ass out here, we finna block.
I ain't blocking.
Blocking the date.
I'm not blocking.
They're both seeing the same thing in the courtroom.
What's these guys?
Robinson
No, Your Honor.
and
Your
Littleton.
Honor.
Yeah. Look at Littleton.
Just egging them on.
He's mocking his argument.
I've been to Charlotte twice. I've been to Raleigh. I've been to Raleigh twice. Raleigh.
Oh, okay. Close enough.
That's how you say it? How you say it again? You for real? But it's spelled R-A-L-E-I-G-H.
Raleigh.
That's Raleigh.
Close enough. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she was nice too, huh?
He's just looking at the Kansas sideline. Right there. Now that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. Now the slant to Williams, and he spins his way into the end zone.
I'm going to go to Cancun like everybody told me to do. And I'm going to enjoy myself because I don't have nothing else to do. So take myself there.
Here we go. Hey, what is hot? Hey, turbo, hey, can. Hey, what is hot?
I knew how important this was for our team. Our team chill. I knew how.
Come on, man. Run the ball. Quit playing.
We promise we won't let you get sacked no more. So sorry that we got you hurt.
Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner. Does this look like a Heisman Trophy winner?
Right, it does. Show it to him.
Show everybody. What would you tell this kid right now?
Looks like a national champion.
Get.
That's the dog mentality.
This is high rate fucking robbery. Man, I'm trying to get some of this gas back. Hey, you think if I go in there and tell them that I put the wrong gas in here, they give me a refund?
Where we at? Back at the crib, yeah.
I am from Florida, bro. I am not supposed to be in this right here. But the gas station trying to get gas. Well, where in the world? Take me back home, man. Detroit, I love y'all. I love playing for the Lions. But bro, I need to go to the house. You're late, baby, late.
Put on the Alabama shirt. You just won the SEC championship.
You almost said. You know what you almost said.
Let me tell you something. Don't ever let that scarf sit down anywhere. You might not ever see it again. It won't even be a question about who took it. I'm gonna send you ransom photos with my face and with the scarf wrapped around my head like the Taliban. You just ridiculous.
No, you are a spoiled brat. You're over here pouting.
You were just ridiculous.
You're pouting.
You know what the word ridiculous means?
Can you spell ridiculous?
Yes, K-A-Y-L-A.
No, ridiculous spells Annette.
No. You acting this way this close to Christmas.
Oh no! Don't you turn into this grandma thing that you got going on over here.
If you had won, you just wouldn't.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. Oh. Well, that was the Miller. Watch this, Jordan.
Damn.
What the? He bumped that like. I've never seen
quick.
Oh no! Shit! I see Reggie Bush. And I had to go back and replay this because what the fuck is she crying for, boy? That bitch must have bet her soul on this game. Then watch this next white lady come up. Boy, she act like somebody killed a pet.
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we're so far past that, to be honest with you, but that's obvious. I mean, you just want to piss me off going into this week.
And roll tide. Thank you. Roll tide. Roll tide. That's what. Roll tide. Roll tide.
Man, I hate Tennessee because first of all it's Tennessee, and I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches, and I hate Philadelphia. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, and I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention, and I hate all their quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man.
Describe what you feel about the colors too.
It reminds me. It's not that orange that you can stand. See, I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors is that throw up orange. It's not that orange that you can sit with. It's that puke inside of pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough, man. And they losers. They sore losers because they're not Alabama, and I hate Tennessee, man.
That was beautiful, man. Probably best interview I've done all year. Thank you, man.
I can't stress that enough. I hate them both.
I mean, his ability to just escape and make plays on the run, I mean, it's just outstanding what I've seen. And just the defensive side of it as well. They're definitely going to be a concern for me going forward if Alabama doesn't get their offensive line straightened out.
Chelsea, that's a great point, because if you look at Alabama's
60 seconds, right?
I can't wait to get paid again.
Oh, baby. You know what? I'm still happy. Oh, there it is, buddy! Woo!
Oh.
What is up, y'all? Gonna start off with our drops for everyone in the chat. Let's see. Got Alex in the chat. I don't have a drop for you, Alex. But if you send me something in my Discord, I could get you a drop. And I don't have one for you either, Hankin TV. Maybe it should be a Roll Tide one. Even though you're Ohio State. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Let's see. Erroneous E, I got your drop. Here we go.
Hey, you a bad.
And Mike, I have your new drop, the one that Pooh Man sent. But I probably will give you a FSU one as well. But here's the one that Pooh Man had suggested for you.
You still cannot touch this slumdog skillionaire. First name Messiah. Rap so hot, I spit yoga fire.
I didn't get it at first, and then I got it. It clicked. I was like, oh, I see why he did that. All right. Got BDB. I don't have one for BDB. I need to figure out, BDB, if you send me a drop that you would want for yourself in my Discord, then I can add it. But y'all go subscribe to BDB. He has a great channel reacting to some music. He has a panel of judges, and they judge music. It's great over there. I love it. And he also does gaming as well. All right. Oh, what's up? Agree to disagree? All right. Let's see here. Okay, so probably need to. Okay, no, never mind. I was like, probably gonna have to wait for this thing to pop up, but nope, it popped up. We're gonna start off with a motivational video that Pooh Man had sent me, and then get into a video that Derek had sent me in the Discord, and I'm gonna talk about this MJ thing again because I got some more info. I'm coming with some more info here, okay? So I'm gonna talk about it again. I'm still not over it. And then get into some Monday Night Football news, MLB rule change, OBJ's possible return, and then, oh wait, I put that on there twice. Interesting. Anyways, gonna get into Kirk and A-Rod, Deshaun Watson, and then NFL players deserve better, and then that ties in with the Lions, because CDT Beats had sent me something of this chart that lists players that probably deserve better. So we're going to get into that, and then of course close out with a motivational video. But first, let's go ahead and play this motivational video. Oh, wait.
I was a backup quarterback on an 0-8 freshman high school team. I didn't even play. Got drafted in the 6th round. You know, no one thought I'd make the team.
This is the draft report on you, Tom Brady. Poor build, skinny, lacks great physical stature and strength, and gets knocked down easily.
That kind of gets me fired up because that bacon, you know, the hell are these people?
This skinny beanpole of a young man walked over to me and said, "Hi, Mr. Kraft. I want to introduce myself. I'm Tom Brady, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made."
Super Bowl MVP. Once again, it's Tom Brady.
I put my hands on my head like, can you believe this? I was a backup quarterback.
So love or hate Tom Brady, he is somebody that's very inspiring. And I think there's a lot to take away from that. You know, people underestimated him. People looked at him based off his appearance. You never would have thought he would have accomplished what he would have accomplished, but he made it happen. He worked hard, and I think we can all take away something from that. People might underestimate me because of the way I look, and it's my job to prove people wrong. Like, I'm in control of what I can do to better myself, and I really like that message that can bring. Here comes Erroneous. Yeah, I hate Tom Brady. Yeah, you're one of the ones that hate Tom Brady. Okay. Is that? Oh yeah, my bad. I didn't have my chat showing. But oh, what's up, 3 a.m.? Good to see you. Great live yesterday, by the way. Y'all go subscribe to 3 a.m. Thought Club. He talks about adoption, awareness. Like, they had a great discussion yesterday, actually. I really enjoyed it. But, man, I was so tired. I fell asleep. I'm trying to think of what time I fell asleep. I fell asleep when I was in the middle of trying to send a chat. I was like, man, I'm trying to hang in there. But I clocked out. I was so tired because I haven't been sleeping the greatest. So my bad on that one. And then I ended up waking up and then staying up again. I only got like a few hours of sleep probably. It's been a bad sleep schedule for me lately. But shout out to you, 3 a.m. I hope if anybody is not aware of his channel that they go subscribe to him and support him. And then of course support From the Black Couch. Okay, you said you'd be right back. Okay, but go subscribe to From the Black Couch if you're not familiar with his channel. Make sure you're subscribed to him. Okay. Let's see here. Go back to the show topics. Go ahead and start with the video that Derek had sent me. And this was like a CFB team that turned it around. And I really liked this video, so I thought I'd share. Oh yeah, and that's Derek in my Discord. I always like to try to take a little screenshot of when you guys send me something in the Discord so I can remember to shout y'all out for that.
College football teams that were terrible but then became unstoppable. Back in 2021, Tulane's football team went 2-10 after being displaced by Hurricane Ida, forced to practice in Birmingham, Alabama for a month, while their quarterback...
I forgot about this too. I forgot that Tulane had to go practice somewhere else, and if y'all are not... Many people, they're like, where the heck is what's Tulane? They don't know about this, but Tulane is in New Orleans, and after the hurricane, they got displaced and they had to go practice somewhere else.
Michael Pratt played the whole season with a torn shoulder. It was rock bottom, but instead of falling apart, almost every single starter came back the next year. You see, in an era where players constantly transferred, Tulane lost exactly one contributor. Coach Willie Fritz overhauled his staff by bringing in 6 new assistants, and suddenly this 2-10 team started winning. They opened 20.
That speaks volumes to that team for sticking around even after a terrible season. If they could have transferred, I think that shows a lot of character, but also, you got to think that sometimes they have no choice but to stay, because if you don't have the stats, similar to the NFL, if you don't have the stats that you can show that you deserve to be traded to another team, the other team might not take you. Like the other school, it's the same for the college football now. If you don't have those stats, they're not going to take you. So a lot of those players, probably felt like they might have had no choice. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them might have felt like they had no choice but to stay. So just throwing that thought out there.
22 at 3-0, including a 17-10 upset at Kansas State as 14-point underdogs, which was their first Power 5 road win since 2010. By mid-October, Tulane was ranked in the AP poll for the first time since 1998, and they went on to win the
first time they were ranked since 1998. That's huge.
AAC championship over UCF, punching their ticket to the Cotton Bowl to face number 10 USC and Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams. But nobody expected what was about to happen in that game. Caleb Williams was unstoppable, throwing for 462 yards and 5 touchdowns, and with 4 minutes and 23 seconds left, USC led 45-30 with Tulane's win probability sitting at literally 0.2%. But Tulane scored a touchdown in 23 seconds, then USC muffed the kickoff at their own 1-yard line, and 2 plays later, Tulane's Patrick Jenkins tackled the runner in the end zone for a safety. Now down just 6, Pratt drove 66 yards while converting 2 fourth downs before hitting freshman tight end Alex Bauman for the go-ahead touchdown with 9 seconds left. Tulane won 46-45, completing the greatest single-season turnaround in college football history.
I actually remember watching this game too, because I told you guys that I kept up with Caleb Williams' career whenever he was at USC. He was definitely a quarterback to watch, in my opinion. And that game was, I was happy for Tulane. I won't even lie. I mean, even though I liked Caleb's talent, I was happy for Tulane. And yeah, like you said, 3 a.m., Tulane is a very underrated college team. They really are. Listening at work. Shout out to you, Highway 20. Let me go play your drop. Let's see.
college football teams that were terrible but then became unstoppable. Back in 2021, Tulane's football team went 2-10 after being
What's up, Tavar? Good to see you. I will be talking about the Lions, by the way. Did I? Okay, never mind. What's going on, Chelsea Sports Network? That's actually a cool name. I never thought about that. That's actually a cool name. Chelsea Sports Network. I like that. All right. So what's next? Oh yeah. I want to get into this MJ thing again, okay? And I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. All right. Let me just add this in here real quick. Oh, I gotta play my background music. You know, we love to play CDT beats around here. Man. Alright, I didn't mean to do that. My bad, y'all. Okay, here we go. Let me adjust this. Y'all, I keep forgetting to add that F it, we'll do it live, because every time I start to do some work on here, it's like F it, we'll do it live. Alright, there we go. Hopefully y'all can see that. But you remember the question from whenever I was reacting to Agree to Disagree, their video asking the question, will MJ still be considered the GOAT in 50 years? And Simplykin and Real to Sports podcast had said, yes, he would still be relevant in 50 years, like as the GOAT. He would consider being number one as the GOAT. And then Mike said no, but he would still be considered the GOAT in his own eyes. And I'm the same with Mike. I agree with Mike, and here's why. So I asked AI the question of, will MJ still be considered the GOAT in 50 years? And here's what AI had to say about it. So it says, factors that could shift the list. The GOAT title is often a reflection of the era in which a fan or analyst grew up. Over the next 50 years, several factors will likely influence Jordan's rankings. And this is something that me and Mike have tried to, Mike tried to explain it whenever he did that video, and then I tried to explain it yesterday, and I feel like it's went over a lot of people's heads, but the generational decay. As the generation that watched Jordan play live ages, his mystique may fade for younger fans who only see him through highlights and documentaries. So over time, it does fade out, and you see it all the time throughout sports. People who, like, you considered the greatest, the next generation might not. The accumulation argument. Future players may surpass Jordan's counting stats. This is something I mentioned yesterday, like total points or all NBA selections, due to increased career longevity in sports science. This is something I tried to explain yesterday. New tier of talent. Prospects like Victor, I cannot say that name, but y'all know, are already being discussed as having the potential to eventually enter the GOAT conversation if they achieve sustained absolute dominance over the league. And that's something else I try to explain. Cultural impact. This was a point that Mike had. The cultural impact. Jordan's dominance was tied to his status as a global icon. A future player would likely need to match his off-court larger-than-life persona to truly replace him at number one, which can happen. Let's see, hold on. So then I asked another question to AI. Let me try to scroll down here. Oh wait, was that all of it? I feel like I asked AI another question. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Or maybe I read it all. Let me figure this out. Okay, no, I did read it all. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm just double checking, making sure I didn't miss anything, y'all. Okay, yeah, I think I got it all. Alright, let me go back. I cannot say that last name when I can't say it. I'm not even gonna try. I'll call him Victor. Yeah, you have to look at the overarching career and hold on. My bad. You have to look at the overarching career and global impact. Yeah, this is something, I feel like it went over people's heads that's so much time. Like 50 years is a long time and things change every day, every second, every minute. Like things can change in the blink of an eye. So 50 years to say someone would remain the GOAT, that's crazy to me, because even MJ himself has said records are meant to be broken, and that's happening. Just yesterday, y'all, I had seen a stat that Luka broke a record, and then I think LeBron James broke a scoring record, or something had happened with that. So it's changing every day. It's unfortunate that I think it went over some people's heads, but you know, that just happens. But hopefully y'all are having a better understanding of where I'm coming from. Wait until Mike leaves this earth. They're really going to be comfortable with disrespecting his legacy. Yeah, right. Agree to disagree. Like this is what we talked about, is how the next generation is already doing that. And I showed y'all proof. I showed y'all videos. I showed y'all someone who is just a year older than me who does not consider MJ to be the GOAT. And he tells everybody, he convinces I've seen him convince other people, even though I disagree. I've seen him convince other people that Michael Jordan is not the GOAT, the real GOAT. It's insane to me, but I mean that's how life goes. Just like they do into Kobe, yeah. Oh, that's what it was, 3 a.m. Thank you for Luka broke Kobe's, I think one of Kobe's records or something like that. I think is what I saw yesterday. But like so much happened in a short period of time, because I seen one for Luka, and then I said, you know, seen one for LeBron James. But I just thought that would be good to share. Maybe later on we'll react to that video again, and I'm going to I I definitely think I'll circle back to that, because I'm telling you, that topic got me so heated. And I think Mike knew, like, agree to disagree. I think he knew that I was heated, because whenever he premiered that video on his, you all go subscribe to Agree to Disagree. But whenever he premiered that video, I was in that chat. I was like not having it. I was like, ain't no way. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna drop the link to Agree to Disagree's channel so y'all can go subscribe. If you're not already subbed. But yeah, that one was interesting. And I'll also drop, if I can find it, here we go. I'll drop the video, because I meant to do that yesterday too, and I forgot to drop the link to the video on the MJ discussion. So y'all can watch that full video there if you want to as well. There we go. There's those two links. And thank you, Aronusi, for subbing. Y'all know we love to support other creators over here. And I really appreciate that. To see y'all subbing to the other channels. Okay, so covered that. Let me get this off the screen. And then we'll keep it moving. And like I said, I might circle back. Actually, you know what? I most definitely will circle back to that video again. And I want to have a screenshot, because I do believe I did have another AI question on there. It's just not showing. Okay, no, I did have another question on there. Man, let me see if I can't bring it up. Okay, we're going to go back to this, because there was another question. I thought I was not tripping. Man, it had me thinking that I was, that I didn't have another question, but I did. Alright, hold on, y'all. I gotta go add this back. My bad. Because there was another question that I asked AI specifically, and I want to show y'all too. Alright, here we go. Hopefully y'all can see that. Man, I still don't think it's showing the original one. It's not showing the second question for some reason. I don't know why. It don't matter. I can just read it. I'll just read it to you guys, because I do want to talk about that. What's up, Smoke and Talk? Good to see you. I do have your drop, Smoke and Talk, so I'm gonna play that for you after I read this. But I asked if he will drop in the GOAT rankings, and it said, the current trends suggest it is increasingly likely that Michael Jordan will drop at least one spot in many official rankings and public polls over the coming decades, which he remains the top choice for a majority of players and analysts. In 2026, the gap between him and LeBron James has narrowed to its smallest margin in history. So this goes back to people like really considering that LeBron is the GOAT. And if I really wish I could get it to pop up, but I'll just screenshot it and then share it again. Like I said, we'll rediscuss this because it's a topic I'm very passionate about. Wemby will just say Wemby. Wemby will have multiple MVPs and the most. Yeah, you know what? That's interesting. I'm glad you said that because it listed that. I think it lists that whenever I was reading it. I think it lists Victor on there as someone who could surpass. So I'm glad you brought that up. You have fandom and then reality, right? Right, 3 a.m.? It's fascinating, but I'm definitely going to revisit it. We're going to watch that video again because it was good, and I have more thoughts on that and more things from AI, and I'm just going to screenshot it. It's so much easier when I just screenshot it and then share it. Let me try to click off this again, and we'll keep it moving. Oh yeah, and I wanted to play Smoke and Talk's new drop. And 3 a.m. send me a video you would want as your drop in the Discord. It could be something from your favorite sports team or whatever. It could be anything. I don't care.
Lamar Jackson, ball till you fall.
I gotta play again.
Lamar Jackson, ball till you fall.
Ball till you fall. Smoke and Talk. Ball till you fall. Alright. Oh yeah. We didn't play the national anthem. You know, we're patriots over here for the Touchdown Tribe. All rise for the Touchdown Tribe's national anthem. Shout out Coop and shout out Cree Cree.
On the Star Spangled Banner, Fergie.
That our flag was still there.
All right, there we go. Oh yeah, you love it? Good. I'm glad you liked it. Because that was something I've been meaning to do. You said, oh Lord. All rise, Touchdown Tribe. That's right. All rise. All right. So we discussed the CFB video that Derek had sent me. Then we discussed the MJ topic again. And we're going to go back to that again. We might go back to that tomorrow. Who knows? Now on to the Monday Night Football news that I have. What's up, Big Natty? I can't say that word, Big Natty. But you said Chelsea Lynn and Tribe watching while working and lurking. Well, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by and listening while you work. I appreciate that. Hopefully this can be entertaining for you. Let's go to this one and show the Monday Night Football news.
Kind of moving around. Did you see what happened with the Monday Night Football doubleheader?
I did.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, Monday Night header no longer. Yeah. Much to the chagrin of nobody, the doubleheader on Monday nights is over. This was something that was cool maybe one time as like, hey, we got a double thing here, but nobody really enjoyed it. It was tough to watch. It's March Madness, much easier to watch multiple games or have multiple coverage on. But if one of the games was clearly better than the other, you had no interest in the other, and then you end up seeing less of that particular game than even whenever you do for...
Big Natty, you said that I could say... Well, thank you, Big Natty, for giving me permission, but I'm probably going to refrain from saying that word just because... I don't know. I'm just not too comfortable with that word. I'm sure y'all understand why, but definitely definitely gonna refrain from that. But thank you for giving me permission.
Red Zone channel on Sunday with Scott Hansen covering games that don't matter. So I just think it was an interesting thing to try. I appreciate ESPN getting more NFL games out of it, so I appreciate and respect that. But I do believe during the negotiations of NFL Network coming over to ESPN, which is now official, congratulations.
Let's go.
So there was some emotion.
William, you said, I didn't like the doubleheader. I never stayed up to watch it. I'm trying to think. There were some games that I just couldn't make it. I couldn't make it. But obviously there were games that I was most interested in. This is what I'm not a fan of. Y'all know I gave my thoughts plenty of times on streaming services. I do not like streaming services taking over. So when you have all these different games going to all these different streaming services and you're having to pay for each individual one, like, right now, Amazon, Netflix, like, I'm not getting I don't have Netflix, y'all. I don't have Netflix. And it just really ticked me off when, like, they started adding games for Netflix, and then you also dealing with Amazon Prime on Thursday. Like, it's just too much. People are money hungry. Like, I just miss the days where it was all on one network. All the channels, all the shows, everything just on cable. Or, what do you call it? Not TiVo, but, on demand, I don't know. But I just miss those days. Why the F can't they put these sports on national television again? And why? Thank you. That's what I was just saying, RBC. And why the heck I need Prime, Netflix, and other streaming services to watch sports? I'm trying to cut the cables, not sub more. Thank you. That's like my biggest issue is you're having to have all these like subscription services just to watch sports now. People in we all know how the economy is. People can't afford that. Like, people, I mean, like, people are probably going to go broke trying to, like, watch their sports. And I'm telling you, like, I can't do it. That's why I don't have Netflix. I would like to, but it's not in my budget. It's not in my budget to have Netflix when I have all these others. So it's just ridiculous. I love Thursday night football on Prime. Great presentation. Now, agree to disagree. I do agree with you on that. I like the style of how they break down the plays. I don't know if you're a fan of that, but they set it up like a video game. And I'm like, man, that's cool. That's cold. I do like Amazon Prime's breakdown of football plays. So I do agree with you there. My only thing is a lot of those games just aren't ones that are the most interesting to me. There's a few games, of course, that I'm like, man, I do not want to miss that game. But yeah, I have Prime and Disney and use a family member's Netflix when it lets me in. Okay, yeah. See, man. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I would not have Amazon Prime if it wasn't for my stepmom and my dad, because they offered it. So we share that, and then I do have a Paramount Plus account, which isn't much. And then what else do I have? I'm trying to think of what else. I have others, but I just can't think of all of them. The only one I know for sure that I do not have is Netflix. That's one I do not have, and not a fan of that. Random Anton, what's up? Amazon Prime games are usually pretty bad. Yeah, every now and then though, like there are the matchups that you don't want to miss. Like, I think this past season there was the Eagles Dallas game, I think, was on there one time. Don't quote me on that, but I know there was some games that I just didn't want to miss. 85% of the games are trash, yeah. Dang, forgot Peacock. Yeah, Peacock. That's another one. Okay, back to it.
Conversations about the history of NFL Network now that it's about to enter a new stage with ESPN in control as the guider as opposed to the league itself. They have brand new studios over there in LA that are beautiful. They obviously have a lot of technology, have a lot of assets, they have everything like that. But in doing so, he moved some games around. Now they have 5 games that would have been Monday Night Football doubleheaders that are now available potentially to new streaming platforms that they can sell. What's that called whenever you sell something individually as opposed to in a big package?
Like a one-off?
It's like a la carte. There it is.
Yeah.
That was exactly what I was looking for.
Like
now they can sell these games a la carte, and that's where you can just start getting the bidding wars for absolutely absurd games. And this is how the revenue and the salary cap in the league will continue to grow. And once they continue to showcase that they can sell one-off games, whether it's on Friday, Black Friday, or a Wednesday afternoon game, or a Saturday game, or a Christmas night game, or a super duper day in the week night game that happens on one of these platforms, once they showcase how much money they can make out of that and what the salary cap can become, and then they make their pitch to the players saying, hey, if you give us 18 games here and we're able to do this with others, the amount of money and what the salary cap can become is astronomical.
So they're talking about it could be a great marketing tool for the players. Like if the players see how much money they could potentially make off of all of us who watch sports, then they can increase the salary cap, and then they would probably be more prone to the idea of adding more games. I'm not a fan of all these streaming services. And it's like me and Erroneous E are talking about here on that. Like, I miss it all being on one cable network. Just, why are we overcomplicating the system here? Let's see what you said. But then you'll forget that you're subscribed and then end up paying for all these services you never use. They do have apps that help with that. What'd you say? Oh, bless her heart. What are you talking about, Big Natty? They were supposed to create a all sports streaming service, but the government nixed the deal. Of course they did. Are we surprised? If anytime there's a potential for them to make more money, of course. So there's that update. Now moving on to the next topic. Oh wait. Erroneous C, let me see what you said. That's why I don't watch most games outside of my teams. I'm not supporting these greedy mofos. Now, I ain't that hard. Man, I wish I could be that hardcore with it. I wish I could be like that. But no, I have to have my foot in all these games. Like, I have to be nosy. Like, my nose is in all these players' business. Like, I'm watching every single game, trying to get every single story, every little detail that I can soak up like a sponge. That's what I'm trying to do. So I wish I could be like that to where, well, I mean, I guess I am. If you count me not having Netflix, that's the only thing that I don't have. But as far as like not watching these other teams, I'm not like that. I ain't built like that. But okay, so in CDT Beats' chat, he brought up the MLB rule changes. And I think
all eyes are on the Final Four. What do we?
Me, obviously CDT Beats, because he brought it up, and agree to disagree. I think you were in there. And we were all discussing this, and so I thought I would bring this up because it is interesting to me.
Are we gambling on how many catchers dunk in the face of umpires? It feels like that's going to be the position that is going to be finally getting a one-up on the umps. Can I be betting on how the umps are doing? Because let me tell you, as somebody who has publicly advocated for players having a pipeline into becoming NFL referees, Mostly because I think players understand the game, especially if they get to a professional level, where if you were to teach them the ins and outs of being an official, they'd probably be able to figure it out. Since the beginning of time, I assume catchers and umpires have had very interesting relationships. And catchers, obviously, all day, every day for their entire life have been strike zoning. That's why framing it is so important, because they're trying to find what the strike zone is supposed to look like. Now that the catchers can publicly execute the umpire back to back to back to back to back pitches. Wow. What a flip in the entire thing whenever it comes to it. Can I bet on what catchers are going to beat what umpires? Because that's not a bad little bet that could potentially come. And it's almost becoming one of the most electrifying things of baseball right
I like that thought. Agree to disagree. You said sports gambling created the so-called need for all these streaming services to follow sports. Ain't that the truth? I mean, I believe it. So back to this, the MLB now being able to challenge the umps. I like this.
Has been awesome about it. And I know you cannot bet on specifically, what catchers or what umpires are going to be worse or whatever. And if, will a team go perfect today on their ABS challenges or whatever. But I'm interested to see, we get a week or two into this because the catchers statistically have been so much better than, let's say, the batters or the pitchers or whatever. Is it going to be beneficial to maybe unders because they are getting so many more strike calls and less batters on base in situations like this? If you're going to put a batter on base, no, because an ABS challenge is going to keep them in the box, keep more strikeouts. Will that lead to more unders in situations like that? I'm very interested to see once we get some more data on this situation.
What's funny is I have YouTube TV. I have YouTube TV for my sports. That's where I watch all my sports because I like the split screen. I can watch multiple games at once. I like that.
Runs. I think the runs would be more effective than anything.
I don't know why the crown couldn't be up for me betting on Salvi beating the hell out of what's his name?
We'd have to ask.
It was CB Buckner. I don't know if it was him, but one of these guys.
If it's a part of the game and it's regulated by the league,
we got to ask the crown.
I don't know how can we get that, because that would be a good time. Because some of these catchers, I think they've been waiting for this moment literally their entire life.
Well, that's a great idea. This is actually good for the umpires. The most accurate umpires with the least overturns should leverage their accuracy rate for higher pay. That's brilliant. Agree to disagree. That's true. They could leverage that. And I think, I think they get into this on here. I can't remember because this was the other day whenever Pat McAfee was talking about it on a show. But I do believe that they get into the NFL refs needing to take a note of how the MLB is doing it. Because if they can leverage their accuracy, that would be good. Because now they're talking about bringing in technology for these play reviews in the NFL. If the refs, if they don't get a deal worked out with the refs, they're talking about bringing in extra tools to review plays and all that stuff. So if they have to bring on these other refs.
Professionals now, but I assume a lot of these guys, the amount of confidence they had as high schoolers, they probably got into it with umps. I would assume maybe even Little League getting into it with umps.
That's
now in front of 40,000 people, they have the opportunity to finally go.
Yeah, so any college football topics that you want me to discuss, just let me know. I've had a hard time. Of course, I'm still into college football and I'm keeping up with it, but I do have a difficult time being as invested as I once was since Nick Saban retired. I'm still trying to get adjusted to Nick Saban being out of there. Because I would always look forward to every little press conference, every little detail, every little thing. And now, I'll be honest, I have not watched one DeBoer. I mean, I have not, if I did watch it, it was only a few seconds. I have not sat through and watched one DeBoer press conference on any of these players, and I need to. I really do need to be more informed on that, but here we are. Either way, it improves the game for sure, no doubt. We'll get it more into it. I'm gonna let this continue to play.
Bitch, basically, is what's happening there. Yankees went 5 for 5 yesterday.
Yeah, and
that's a big storyline. Storyline, they made the pitch clock to make it faster. Storyline, all the stars played great last season.
That's what I was going to
Storyline,
talk about. Is I don't know if you guys remember this, but I think it was like back in 2024. They changed the pitch clock to, I think it was like 15 seconds or something like that for the pitch clock time, and that was not long ago. Because I believe, like I said, it was in 2024. So they're really picking up on these changes, and I think it's great for baseball.
big dumper who hit a walk-off last night. Oh no. Is he back?
Dump's back.
Oh no, is he back? There's a lot of good storylines. This year's storyline is going to be ABS, and it is going to be what are the umps' real purpose in this whole thing, and the catchers continuing to dominate them is like problematic, I think, for refs everywhere if players are kind of going to be right for their warranted upsetness.
So as you know, I grew up as a catcher, and like the first day one, you are taught not to show up the ump because he's the most important part. Like, yes, you can frame, but if it's a strike and he misses it, you're like, you don't make noises, don't turn around and show him up
because they're sensitive.
Yeah, and they're not going to give you calls the rest of the game. But now you can basically do whatever you want because you are the one back there determining whether you're going to challenge these calls or not. You still
playing field, and I like that.
Don't want to show them up because there's a lot of calls that aren't challenged. You're not challenging like the first pitch in a bat or something like that. I haven't seen anything like that yet. So you still don't want to show them up. It's going to be interesting to catcher ump relationship on how many times they get challenged.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a power contrast, because the catchers are now in charge.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful. You get 2 ABSs. If you're right, though, they remain. So you can't have 20 if you're right the entire time. And these umps, little accountability coming very public.
See, and this is what was awesome, too. I don't know how much of that we'll get, but, it was in like the 4th inning, and the Yankees had already gotten, 5 challenges, right? And Boone from the dugout yells like, hey, fucking wake up. Like, let's go. This is bad. Like, so umpires responding to that and maybe like tossing a manager out for basically just being like, hey, you've been shit all night. Like, that is absolutely going to happen as well. So it's
my God.
It's a whole new element that it really has been, no pun intended, it's been a home run thus far.
Oh, yeah, it has been taking a lap around the bases, hasn't it? The best part about it is we remember managers, kicking dust. That's all over like little centimeters.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
And now the managers and the catchers get to be like, just like we've been saying this whole time.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's crazy.
And umps can still throw them out if they, are like.
I don't like your attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Good for baseball. 9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler. Share D-Bucks.
Are the umps kind of on life support, though? I'm always pro-human. Look, I want to get the calls right, but I'm pro umps. I'm pro chain gang. Like, I like certain things. Are the umps on their way out of here? Like, why do we need them at this point?
That's a good question.
You still need them. There's going to be plays at the plate. They have other responsibilities, like where they have to go make calls. So I don't think we'll get to that point. But I'll tell you what, it's putting them all on notice. That's for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live here at the end.
I really like the changes. Like, agree to disagree. We're talking about. I think the changes are great for the sport of baseball. So there's that news. Now let's see what else we got to talk about. We have OBJ's return. Let's get into that video.
All eyes are on the Final Four. Are we got?
John Harbaugh confirmed that the team has discussed a potential reunion with free agent wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., saying if Odell is an option, then we'll be looking at him for sure. Harbaugh and OBJ remain close relationship after coaching him in 2023, where he had 35 catches, 565 yards, and 3 touchdowns. OBJ hasn't played since 2024 and was suspended 6 games in 2025 for a PED violation. Both Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors have reportedly told the team they support adding him. Ocho, look, and I think he made some spectacular catches.
He's moving real well.
I think they got people Can he help the Giants, or this is just a feel good story?
I think he could help the Giants, especially what he could do. Listen, we don't need you to be that guy. We don't need you to be Odell Beckham that made the one-hand catch. What we do need you to do is be a viable.
Odell, I don't believe, could be that guy anymore. Like, he's older. He's been out of the league for a little bit. He would have to be wide receiver 3, wide receiver. I don't know. Like, he definitely wouldn't be number 1.
Option for Jackson Dart. That's it. As a veteran presence in that locker room, help Malik Neighbors. Obviously, you guys have a relationship. Both went to the same college. Malik Neighbors coming off ACL. Again, I'm sure he's going to be somewhat of what he was before he got hurt. He's very young. When you're that young, and it's time to recover, you heal like goddamn Wolverine. You hear me? Especially with technology and the rehab process that they have today, I think it would be a good look for Odell to be able to go back to New York and finish what he started.
Yeah, man, Ocho, they get you on, man.
Fit for Odell, to go back to New York. I could see it.
And they get you on that damn bike, and they get you on that machine where they bend your knee. They got that machine that bend.
Yeah.
Because they're keeping that range of motion. You want to keep that range of motion. And your ass working out 5 days a week. It ain't like a normal, like you and I, we get hurt now, Ocho, we got 2 days a week. That's all insurance going to cover. Now, if you want to pay more out your own
that's
pocket,
on you, yeah.
But the only thing insurance is going to cover is 2 days a week. In the NFL, you're going to get 5 days a week, and and if it's a home, guess what, Ocho, they have your ass there on Saturday before they take off. I know, because we'd had a lot of guys that had ACLs and things like that. Oh, you getting the 5 days a week. You get that 2 hours. Sometimes, a lot of times, they'd have them come like at 9 o'clock, because the guys that's going to, you're trying to get them back to play, they get there 7 o'clock. Meetings start at 9, or special teams might start at 8:30, 8:15, something like that. So you got to go. And so they have those guys to come once you start your meeting. So 9 o'clock, they get there 9:15. But let's see what you got.
I like that. Remember Wandale Wright? Did I say that right?
Wandale Robinson.
Excuse me.
He went to Tennessee.
He went to Tennessee over there with Cam. So Odell would be perfect, in that slot position. I like it, huh? I like it.
I like it too. I agree with Ocho on that. I think it would be great, a great option for Jackson Dart, and a great opportunity for Odell Beckham Jr. Also, I do think it's interesting, since John Harbaugh is discussing it. It does make it more of a reality in a way. Not saying that it's going to happen for sure, but if John Harbaugh is discussing it, it's definitely raising a lot of eyebrows.
He seems healthy. He's moving really well. Obviously, I know it's just flag football, but flag football, obviously, you get to see a small sample size of a player and how healthy he is. Being able to move around and out there competing. Obviously, we know the
it was a great opportunity to showcase his talent.
NFL is completely different, but
for sure,
I like it for Odell, man. I think he really wants to play. And he just needs the opportunity. He just needs the opportunity, because he can still make plays. He can still get open. He is still one hell of a player, when it comes to, run after catch or getting the ball in his hands. I think he can do some damage. It depends on how much they use him. It's all about opportunity.
OBJ's cooked. I think he, we're not talking him being wide receiver 1, right? We're just talking about him being an option. Just to have him as an option, I think, is a great opportunity. And I do think he still has a little bit to offer. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying he's going to be number 1, but there is something there, I do believe.
How many opportunities are you going to give him?
I would love to see what he could have been had he stayed healthy. Had he stayed in the Giants. Had he stayed with the Giants.
So how many? I just know of the one, but how many injuries has he had? I just know of like the ACL injury. But even that, like even the ACL injuries, I've talked about it before with the advancements of sports medicine and sports rehab for physical therapy, that it's so advanced now and the recovery is way better. The recovery outcome is just way higher in compared to what it used to be. So I take that with a grain of salt when it comes to ACL injuries and things like that. But depending on how many injuries, that's a different story. How many injuries has he had? And considering age as well, those are obviously impacts. But I'm just curious how many injuries has Odell Beckham Jr. had.
Hey, he was on a hell of a run.
Sometimes you don't realize what you have,
It's
Ocho,
gone.
until it's gone. You think, Ocho? We talk about this all the time. Everybody always think the grass green on the other side, and sometimes the best place for you is right the hell where you are.
I mean, and another thing too that I just thought about because you added the "and he just needs money" thing. Does he have a podcast or anything? Because I feel like if you are to the point where you're that desperate for money, you're going to start doing podcasts, doing YouTube channels, and then just different things like that for these athletes. So I'm wondering, which now I take that with a grain of salt too. More athletes are creating YouTube channels just for an extra source of income for backup plans. So take that with a grain of salt. They're getting savvy with it now. They're seeing it as another opportunity versus just, oh, they're broke, so they're going to start a YouTube channel. I believe he's had 2 ACL injuries, if I'm correct. Okay, I can Google it real quick. I don't want to change that. Okay, let's see. How many ACL injuries has Odell Beckham Jr. had? 2? Okay, so it was 2 major ACL injuries. This is what gets me. This is what gives me erroneously. The fact that he's had 2 major ACL injuries or ACL tears in the same knee. So they were both on his left knee. That's what gets me is when you're having reoccurring injuries on the same bone, cartilage, all of that. Like when you're having those reoccurring injuries like that, that's a problem. They see that Mr. Beast money. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Mr. Beast. Yeah. Shout out Mr. Beast. He does a lot here in North Carolina. Chelsea plus an ankle fracture. Okay. Now, didn't Odell Beckham Jr. play for LSU? I don't know where G Honda is, but I'm pretty sure that Odell Beckham Jr. played for LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I bet he wish he had never left New York.
Probably.
He was never really the same player. The injuries, I think he broke his ankle before he left the Giants. Then he tore that ACL. Remember, Ocho? Then he tore that ACL again in the Super Bowl.
Y'all, I couldn't have, man, if we just kept watching, I would have found out that he injured the ACL twice in the same knee. So both the left ACLs. Yeah, he's from Louisiana? I don't know if I realized that he was from Louisiana. But either way, I do think it's a great option, and it's cheap. Though they would get him for cheap, so I think it would be great for New York if they were to be able to have OBJ return. Of course, you got to take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to things like this because sometimes it's just a headline, just a publicity thing that they want to report on. So we'll see what happens with that, but I wouldn't be mad at it. I think it would be a great option. Now, let's see what else we got. So moving on to, I covered the MJ thing, so ignore that one. Oh yeah, Kirk and A-Rod. This was interesting to me.
Jeffy, just curious. Last time you came on, you said that
I'm
Kirk
gonna do a little recap. So y'all remember from one of my previous lives that I showed the Pat McAfee update with Mike McCarthy on Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna show that again, and then we'll get into that one.
Should be a lot of facts, but you know what you're gonna get asked the entire time.
That's okay.
Do you know what you're gonna get asked though?
You know, just what a great job you did on the McAfee show, hanging out with the guys.
Okay, that's first question. Let's go to the next one. What you did. Let's go to the next one. You did do that. That would be an accurate report.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think the next question would be?
No, I mean, you always talk about the quarterback, right?
Yeah, and they would say
Quarterback league.
They'd say, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers said that I haven't even really heard from the. Everybody wants me to make a decision. I haven't really heard from the Steelers," which led us to believe, like, okay, maybe they're both kind of going through processes right now to figure it out. Aaron trying to figure out whether or not he wants to play. You guys figuring out when the right time to talk to Aaron. Obviously, you have great relationships with Aaron as well on what it is. How do you kind of juggle all that that's happening right now? Because that is what you're going to get 100 questions about that tomorrow.
You know, I mean, I've talked to Aaron regularly, and we'll continue to do so, and we're just working through it, you know, and when it's time to, you know, fully address it, we will. But it's, you know, it's a process that he's going through, and I'm comfortable with it. But we've had very, very positive conversations on a weekly basis.
His offense that he loves is the offense you put into his life. Yeah. He's called it many times beautiful. The West Coast offense is beautiful, and it does this. And he says the modern game is missing out on this. I think he would write maybe a book about the beauty of the West Coast. Like, I think he would actually do that the way he's talked about it in the past. That is obviously an offense that you know very, very well. That feels like simpatico conversations that you're having, or are you going to take... Oh, yeah. Because you just talked about systems that have been in place versus what it hasn't been in place. If Aaron's your quarterback, it feels like you have everything at your disposal right in the history of your offense. Is that true, or is your offense?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the offense is, you know, it's what I believe in. It's, you know, obviously what he believes in. So, you know, that part's already being built on a daily basis with the coaches. So we're just, you know, we're getting geared up for when we can meet with our guys next week. So, you know,
he's doing it right. It's got to be. It just makes too much sense. 100%. Why would he not want to showcase?
I just caught the fact that Mike McCarthy said we're getting geared up for when we meet with players next week. So maybe we can find out something next week. We'll see.
Offense that he has been singing the praises of every single time he spoke about it, you know, especially with winning the AFC North last year with how they went.
Yeah. A bunch of his former head coach and a bunch of other guys who are in Green Bay who he presumably has good relationships with. Seems like it'd just be a fun year.
That feels like the right.
Yeah.
No, it's.
Is that what you're saying to him though? Is that like the conversations you're having a part of everything?
Oh yeah, he knows. You know, he talks to the coaches that are there, and there's a lot of very positive, healthy communication going on.
Okay.
Positive.
Weekly.
Good for you. Go ahead, D-Buck.
Yeah,
So I think that was very telling. He said there's a lot of positive, healthy communication going on. Let me get to Ronesy here. Let's see if McCarthy can get the Steelers further than he did Dallas. That's negative inclination against Jerry, if so. Yeah, well, see, my thing is we knew what it was going to be with Mike McCarthy at Dallas, and you can hear like a ton of analysts speak on that. Like, I've heard it from Stephen A. I've heard it from Rex Ryan. I've heard it from whenever they had speak on FS1 with Ocho and Joey Taylor and all of them. They all talked about how that was going to go. They didn't see it going well, because if you looked at Mike McCarthy's history with Green Bay, it wasn't good whenever he did offensive coordinating and head coaching. Looked at what happened to him whenever he did the same thing at Dallas. It didn't work out. So it'll be interesting what happens with McCarthy at the Steelers. I still have not searched if Mike McCarthy hired a offensive coordinator. I'm searching that right now, y'all. The Steelers. Okay, so they did hire an offensive coordinator. So I think that's good. Because it's just not a good outcome whenever Mike McCarthy is trying to be offensive coordinator and head coaching. And I really think he's tried so many times to prove people wrong that no, he can be a head coach and an offensive coordinator, and it has not worked out for him. We all know Jerry Jones is the problem. Yeah, ain't that the truth? And it's going to continue to be that way because, unfortunately, his son will most likely be handed down the business. So I'm sure it's going to be generational issues. I hope not, but we'll see. Some Dallas fan is going to have to John Wilkes Booth. I was not expecting that, erroneous. But see, that's what I'm saying, is even if Jerry Jones is out, right, you still get another Jones to replace him because his son will take over. It's unfortunate. Welcome back from the Black Couch. Good to see you. Steven ain't no better. No, like Steven's made some comments like his dad. And Steven's made some bad decisions, like, we could get into that another day. What's up, Aaron Laura? It was good to see you live with your friends. That I caught the end of it, but that was a fun little discussion. And then I got to subscribe to somebody new, so that was cool too. Someone else who reviews movies and all of that. That was fun. But it was good to see you. And y'all go subscribe to Aaron Laura's channel as well if you're not already subscribed to her. All right, back to it.
Jeffy, just curious. Last time you came on, you said that Kirk Cousins was basically like he's not just going to go take a $1 or $2 million deal to be a backup quarterback somewhere. Where do we stand on that? I feel like that's the only name I've been seeing is, hey, where's Kirk Cousins going to go? And is he maybe waiting? I don't know. Does he think he's going to be a starting quarterback in Pittsburgh potentially? Or is the idea that, hey, we kind of know that Rodgers is probably going to be.
Black Couch, it was on another channel. Aaron Laura was just on it. But Aaron Laura can drop their link, their channel link, because she goes live with them on there. But yeah, it was on someone else's channel. But Aaron Laura, drop their link so people can go check you out on there.
Be going back to Pittsburgh and eventually here, Kirk Cousins, he does still want to play and he's just going to go be a backup.
It does sound like the Rodgers thing and Pittsburgh thing is happening. Him and McCarthy are talking every day. Why are they talking every day if he's not going back? It just is not official. It's not contractual. I was told. I don't know where they're at. It's Aaron being Aaron, right?
Yes, what's that mean?
Yes, hasn't decided.
What's that mean?
Going through his process.
I mean, what do we do?
Exactly.
He's talking to Big Mike every week. I believe Mike McCarthy said this morning he was talking to him yesterday. What are we doing?
Right.
You either want to play or you don't.
He's busy, guys. We know why. Working on. Doing push-ups. You know why? Phone time. Cooking bacon. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
In his underwear. That's what he's
in my kitchen.
You think he's worried about what's going on in August, September, October right now?
No.
Can't. How could he? Now, on that note, I assume he is actually. And if he is talking to Mike McCarthy every single week, when Mike was sitting here yesterday, I was putting it to him a little bit, because we're pretty comfortable with him. Like, well, why wouldn't he want to play in your offense for one last trip? Because he loves your offense. He goes, conversations are going positively. And then I go,
everybody here sounds like him. Everybody can imitate him very well.
Pittsburgh, yeah. He's the ends.
Right? It's
he's
pretty simple.
Easy. So you think Aaron playing for the Steelers?
Be my guess, yeah. It seems like way, right?
Why don't you put a tweet out about it
right now? That's why I say seems and be my guess because we want to keep it like that.
Mark Caboli, who's obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers correspondent for this program. We saw him last night for the first time this year. Mike McCarthy said he talked to Aaron Rodgers last night. Those two talk more than me and my wife. So it sounds like they're getting tight up.
Jeez, Mark.
And Caboli, maybe reach out to your wife.
Exactly. That's the headline out of there that Mark didn't talk to his wife last night.
Now, y'all, I seriously do believe that Adam Schefter knows Adam Schefter knows that Aaron Rodgers is returning. I really truly believe this, but he's just not breaking that news yet because he's very respectful of the sources he has, like the bonds he has with these teams and organizations and the people in it, because that's how he's built up this clientele of NFL organizations who give him breaking news. So I seriously do believe that Schefter knows. He's just not releasing the info. Like I said, we probably would hear something next week maybe. I'm hoping sooner, but we'll see.
Last night, I think he's talking about
general.
Yeah, Mark, open up conversation with Miss Caboli.
Exactly.
Yeah. Jeez, stop eating a mayonnaise sandwich right in front of her face and say hello. Ask her how her day's going.
And don't take your business with Miss Caboli public.
Well, we don't know. Maybe they're the next reality TV couple.
Mark takes a lot of things public. He shouldn't.
I would too. The Cabolis.
I don't know why they have like a cool reality TV couple show, the Cabolis.
I'll tell you what. And then what if he starts working out so he can do what Aaron is doing with his?
Wow. Yeah, get a PhD.
Yeah, there's a chance. Caboli.
Knocking boots.
They actually already did that show.
What's that?
How much are they going to have to pay him? Is he still under contract and contemplating retirement? So I don't know the contract. I don't believe he's under contract, or else they wouldn't be having these negotiation talks. I believe they're just one-off deals. Actually, no, I'm almost positive because whenever they discussed with Mike McCarthy and with the Steelers owners that Aaron Rodgers was comfortable with just a one-off deal because he is older. He knows that he's contemplating retirement now. So, yeah, I believe it was just a one-off deal. So I don't think there's any contract that he's under. As far as how much are they going to pay him, now I do know this. The past time he was flexible with them when it came to the money. So he knows that he's gonna be more flexible, and he's talked about that. I don't think it's more of a contract or the pay or anything like that with Aaron Rodgers, because obviously he's well paid, and he's mentioned that before. The money, like it was never like about money, because I mean, look at how much he's made throughout his career. Now it's just a love for the game, and can his body still handle it? Is that's what's best for his situation now that he's married? All of those things. If he's smart, he'll take the league minimum so they can load up on weapon. I think that's what he did this past time, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did take the league minimum this past time. What is up, Mo? Good to see you. I finally added your name to the banner. Shout out to you for hitting the Cash App yesterday. I really appreciate that. But yeah, let's continue with this.
They already did that show.
Love is Blind?
No, it was. I believe it was Mahershala or
Bob Loves Abby Show.
Yeah, whatever.
That's a question for
Bill
Schefter?
Yardell's in it. Yeah, Bill.
By the way, I didn't answer Ty's question. I think Kirk Cousins is just sitting back and waiting. Whatever opportunity comes his way, he can be selective and choose. He's made as much money as an NFL player, so he doesn't have to rush into anything. Like
not going to be Mendoza.
Back up. Or start
by the
and
way,
then let Mendoza come in.
Yeah,
maybe, but
I like Kirk Cousins if he was at the Raiders or somewhere where he can help a rookie QB. I would like that option for Kirk. All right, moving on. We've got Deshaun Watson.
Haslam said that Deshaun Watson very much to play for the Cleveland Browns. Shador Sanders living in Cleveland, working out in Cleveland. Dylan Gabriel hasn't seen him around building, says Todd Monken. What is the quarterback situation in
Deshaun
Cleveland?
Watson's career has fascinated me because obviously he played at Clemson. Shout out to Alabama because we beat him. We beat Clemson whenever he played there. But his career has fascinated me in the NFL. So I'm not gonna lie, he is one that I'm the most curious to see return. I'm really hoping for his return because I want to see if he still has it. I want to see what he can do. I know a lot of people are doubting him, but I would like to see him shake and bake and make something happen.
And Deshaun Watson returning to Cleveland Brown, I guess Deshaun Watson arriving as a Cleveland Brown star.
Erroneous E. You're coming with it. You said Deshaun should start just based on the contract alone. Let him lose it based on performance. Exactly. Just see what happens, and if he loses it, he loses it. But I'm telling you, I don't know what agent he has, but that contract secured his spot. He would be out of there if it wasn't for what his agent did on his contract, because everybody was questioning, is he going to stay? Is he going to stay? And I kept telling everybody, I'm like, he's staying. His contract secures him there because they can't afford to pay him off like Miami's paying off Tua.
Quarterback could happen this upcoming season. Is that real?
I think that's been one of the least talked about biggest stories going into the season. The fact that Deshaun Watson could wind up being the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I think
What's up? I said Mo. What's up, Derek? Good to see you here always, Derek. Derek, I played one of your videos earlier that you had sent me. I started off the show with the video on Tulane. So thank you. Shout out to you for sending me that in the Discord. And then what's up, Stephen James? Let me go back to the comments here. There we go. Wait. Huh? They released? What are you talking? Wait. They still have to pay Tua. They still have to pay Tua. But did they release? Oh, okay. Erroneous okay, he did, yeah. I thought Atlanta released him. I was like, how? He just signed the minimum deal. See, Tua just signed a minimum deal for $1.3 million at the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm like, how did he already get released? But no, Miami didn't release him. They have to pay him. Everybody's talked about that. Like, Tua is like a well-paid quarterback that they don't get to have.
I think that's absolutely on the table. I think that it feels like it's moving towards that right now. Now, Todd Monken comes in, and who knows exactly what he's going to do, but they're going to take a look at everybody. Todd Monken said at breakfast this morning that he hasn't decided, at least publicly, how the quarterback rotation will work out in OTAs. He's going to lean on people who've had experience there. Shador's had some experience. Dylan Gabriel not being there, like that, there's a message there. The fact that he's not there, I think.
You know what it is?
Yeah, not really thrilled there.
Shador's dad.
So this is what I talked about with Dylan Gabriel. I said I called that. I said if anybody goes, it's going to be Dylan Gabriel. He got injured. He didn't start as many games as what Shador Sanders did. So if anyone's going to go, it's going to be Dylan Gabriel. And then you're hearing from Scheffner saying that it's interesting because he wasn't a part of like what's going on. So I think that's very telling. We'll see.
One of the greatest professional athletes of all time. He said, hey, when you're on a team, you fucking live there. That's yeah. You're a fifth rounder. You probably don't have a lot to say. Remember, he was there before spring workouts.
He's gone from there, but they just have to pay him. Let me look it up real quick, actually, because I want to see how much they have to pay Tua Tagovailoa. How much does Miami have to pay Tua? Holy cow. Listen to this, y'all. Okay, so by releasing, they did release Tua at Miami, but since they released him and broke the contract, they have to pay $99.2 million in dead money. This massive cap hit covers guaranteed salary and the remaining bonus from his 2024 extension. The team will spread this burden across 2026, $67.4 million, and 2027. So this is going to hit them in 2027 as well, and $31.8 million in 2027. Wow. That's crazy. So it said the massive obligation stems from a 4-year, $212.4 million extension signed in 2024. So because of that contract, Miami's having to pay him because they released him and broke the contract. That's crazy to me. Yeah, the dead money. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Erroneously, we're going to get to that.
Doing charity stuff. It's like he understands what a professional athlete is. You know, I think Shedeur has a very huge head start and all that. So obviously, he had a lot more attention because who his dad was, which everybody said, well, I'm only hearing about it because who his dad is. Like, well, coming alongside that is also a lot of intel that you can potentially learn about being a professional athlete, especially as a 5th-round draft pick and having to earn your shit. So I like to hear that Shedeur's there in town. I think he's been trying to be the leader and the quarterback of that team since he got there.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson, though, if he's anywhere near when he was a good football player, he was like MVP.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
What is that, 100 years ago? 100 years ago?
That it would be a wild comeback story.
Yes, it would
Like,
be.
See, y'all,
everything.
I love a comeback story. This is why I'm keeping my eyes on it. And you know, I showed you all my friends yesterday, Nick and Trey. They can't stand a comeback story, but I love them. So I would like to see Deshaun Watson come back.
Thing that he's come back from everything, right? I mean, he's been off the football radar for a couple of years, right? So he's back on the football radar, and he could wind up being the starting quarterback.
Yeah, we got Deshaun Doppler here in the football radar. He could potentially be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Andrew Berry looks jacked. Will he be jacked about the quarterback decision he has to make? We shall see. Todd Monken, not a lot of fanfare whenever he got hired as the head coach. Seems like he might be the right guy.
And I also say this, they have 2 first-round picks. They're picking, I believe, 6 and 24. And I don't think they're going to go quarterback in round 1 at all.
Really?
Really?
I mean, there's
Pro Bowl.
I would hope not.
You heard Mel Kiper.
Well, there's
That would
also
be
not
dope.
really any quarterback.
Well, right. You're not gonna do it at 6. 24 would be a possibility, and I don't see it happening right now.
But,
Well,
24.
we'll
But with the
see
draft,
what happens with all that. But moving on. CDT Beats sent me this. Shout out to CDT Beats. I'm going to play his music in the background while we discuss this. All right. NFL players who deserved better. So, first up, Bobby Wagner, 2022, found out he was cut via social media news and reports. And then you have Steve Smith Sr., 2014, released following a character smear campaign after 13 years of service. It's crazy. Now you have Deshaun Jackson, the Eagles, 2014, cut immediately after team leaked reports alleged, I don't know what that says, unproven. So the team leaked reports of alleged unproven, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but things that have to do with being a part of a group that's not doing good things. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know he was cut for that. Okay, then you have Steve Smith, the Giants. Giants withdrew his contract via text while he used crutches. Interesting. You have Peyton Manning. Now, I didn't know this, or I forgot about it. Like, obviously I knew Peyton Manning played for the Colts, but I don't remember what happened here. Released, oh wow, I forgot about this. Released while still recovering from multiple intensive, does that say PAC? Y'all, I can't see. Surgeries. Wow, I didn't realize that he got released when he was recovering from surgeries. Richard Sherman cut while rehabbing a torn Achilles with no prior notice. That was in 2018. Ty Law from the Patriots, 2005, three-time champion, informed of his release via a voicemail message. Well, they did try to call him, but I mean, they probably, like, if he didn't answer, then they had to just leave a message. Ed Reed, 2013, franchise icon, ignored during free agency without a contract offer. Brian Dawkins, 2009. This is, I think, a big one. Team lowballed their greatest leader to force him into leaving. Bernie Kosar, 1993. I'm not familiar with him because I was born in 94. Bill Belichick cut the hometown hero mid-season without warning. That's interesting. So, these are all players that deserve better. Now, this leads into the Lions, okay? Because there was recent news about what the Lions are doing to one of their players. And shout outs to CDT Beats for sending me this chart of NFL players who deserve better. You said, not my Lions. Yes, your Lions. Here we go.
Feels as though the Detroit Lions are the cheap Lions now. They asked for money back from Frank Reich.
I think we got a brand new graphic, actually, if you would like to
They
see it.
asked for money back from one of their players.
We have a brand new graphic, if we could pull it up.
Frank right now basically broke his neck.
Oh, what's up?
and said,
Pretty good to see you. You said, what up, tribe? Yeah, what up?
No, I still want to play. Yeah, Taylor's all the time, and they basically it's almost as if they reversed the curse that they reversed. That they're now going to be cursed again.
Sheila Ford Hamp brought in a whole
Who's
new
sitting in
attitude.
that chair? That's not.
That's the Lions.
Who is that? That's
random
not Sheila
Lions
Ford
suit.
Hamp.
No, it was. I think he made this before the most recent version of "You're going to have to give us your money back," even though you certainly outplayed your contract, and we are, I guess, not grateful. Jim Irsay gave Andrew Luck $25 million whenever he retired 13 days before the season.
Think about that.
Just as a thank you to Andrew Luck. And I'm not saying that that's how you have to do it, but just the fact that the Lions are seemingly still up to their old tricks.
What?
Why would you do? Is this, how normal is this? It's not normal, right? Especially with stars. If they were like bottom half of roster and didn't contribute to city, to team, I think it'd be a little bit more
broken throat.
I was surprised to see that.
Me too. Because how much was it, Fox? Did you guys get like a new chair or something?
Shout out to you. Y'all go check out her recent premiere video. That was good. That was interesting because I did not know some of that about Kelly Rowland. I didn't realize that. But you can drop your link, Cree, or I can drop it. Because it is in my recently watched videos from that premiere on Andretta Tillman. And it gets into like the Destiny Child and all of that. So y'all check out Cree's recent video. I got it, Cree, no worries, because it was in my recent watch list. So y'all go make sure you watch that video, because that was interesting.
12
I actually don't even know why I was defending the Lions right here. This is inexcusable. Those are three of the greatest players of my lifetime by far and away. And like you guys said, Ragnow played through so many injuries, and he was here during the greatest era of Lions football in the history of the franchise. I don't care how much it was. It could have been $100 million billion, and we should have gave him the money. What the hell is going on, Shefty?
I know that they're going to, honestly, and Taylor Decker said what? They haven't talked to me.
Yeah.
That was like 2-3 months.
Yep.
He's being a little dramatic, we think.
I agree.
But on that note, it does feel weird the way you guys treat your players. Honestly,
Ragnow tried to come back. Yeah, this year.
Couldn't pass the physical.
Yeah, one hamstring. His other hamstring disappeared.
Shefty,
Like,
inform
he
us a
really
little
put
bit.
his body on the line, and this is how the Lions are treating him.
Why is it as abnormal as we are making it feel here? Because it feels abnormal for your star players to give back money to the team that they've played for.
I don't know how it works for every team, but it feels more abnormal than not. I don't think that most teams.
Or someone, if you're in my Discord, try to find me a video. I'm sure there's a video out there that we can react to, of all the players that the Lions have screwed over. I'm sure there's a video on it. And we can try to react to that tomorrow, because it's fascinating, like, how long this has been going on with the Lions.
Do that. I'm open to be corrected, but it doesn't sound like teams ask their star players to start giving back money after that. And like, I don't know how this comes out.
Wait,
like this.
what? I have an inappropriate AI drop today that a friend did for me. Y'all stay tuned for that. Y'all stay tuned on Couch's channel for this video, because I'm curious now. You piqued my interest from the Black Couch.
And
then other players, I think it was Quandre Diggs, I believe. He chimed in. Alex Anzalone, Paisan, who we know
And you said, I don't want to do that. You said, don't put me in the middle of that. I ain't talking bad about my team like that.
Chimed in, basically also burying him. Like, it just looks terrible as a team that we all think, like, hey, if you're trying to resurrect your team, do what the Lions did.
Brand new Lions. This feels like some same old shit.
Poop.
It does.
And I want to know who makes that decision. Is that actually
I have to call him Foxy on the Pat McAfee show. He's cracking me up with this. He keeps going off. Like, he keeps adding his thoughts as he's working on doing the producing for the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, whoever's sitting in that chair.
Or is it the president, Rod Wood? That needs to be cleared up there as well.
I think Rod Wood's retiring. I wonder if they're going to make him pay back his bonus.
That's a good question, Schefter.
Good call,
and thank you for being fair right there. Because normally people in your position would not go to bat for players versus executives or coaches.
Players earn all their money, and when they sign that contract,
me and you be on it with the Pat McAfee show. Yeah, it's good. It's underrated in my opinion. I know he gets a lot of hate. I've talked about it before, but it actually really is good.
that is supposed to be guaranteed money. If it's guaranteed, why are we guaranteed to give it back?
Well, the Lions said it's actually our money.
I don't know why I've never mentioned this before, but Pat McAfee's show, even though it's on ESPN as well, the entire show is on his channel. So you can watch this for free on YouTube. The Pat McAfee show. I think that's great.
We gave him for future use.
Yeah.
And he's not doing the future use. So that thing's going to have to come back. It's just, it optically looks stupid for a company that is billions and billions of dollars. How big the NFL is. This guy rolled himself out of the hospital bed to try to play football for them because their offensive line.
Like, he, played through, really intensive pressure on the body. And then obviously he had injuries as well. And for them to do this is what, just is insane to me.
Sucked this last year. Yep. And they ran a physical and they're like, dude, you're not healthy enough to play. He's like, I'll die out there. Just let me do it. And then on his way out, after he failed a physical and was willing to die, they're like, oh yeah, also you owe us $5 million.
Yeah, cash on it.
On the way out, please.
It's like, what? Why would you? I don't know why you would do that. It makes no sense. But hey, cutthroat business. That's what they gotta do.
That's their policy.
Hey, way to go! You guys are gonna need Peyton Manning and the guy from Dumb and Dumber to put another hub out there.
Okay, so there's that. You know, I thought that was great because CDT Beats just had happened to send me the NFL players who deserve better, and then this came out with the Lions, and I was like, well, this just ties in perfectly. So we could add him to the list. But now I definitely want to find a video. I'm definitely going to try to find a video on all the Lions players who have been done dirty by the Lions. Because I didn't realize the list until you guys started naming everyone. I didn't realize how big the list is. So definitely we'd have to do a reaction to one of those videos if I can find one. What is up, Pooh Man? Let me go to the drops before I get into the next topic, which should be Erroneous E. Shout out to you if you're still here. This is your team, the Eagles. We're going to get into things going on with the Eagles, but let me go to my drops for my favorites because we have Aaron Laura and we have Cree Cree, and I got to play you guys' drops.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
And since Couch is back, we'll play his drop. Who else? I feel like I'm missing one. Pooh Man. Gotta play your drop.
Rolex wearing. Woo! Diamond ring wearing. Woo! Kiss stealing. Woo! Wheeling dealing. Woo! Limousine ride. Woo! Jet flying. Woo! Sucking on a gun. Woo! And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. They give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Alright, there we go. Now back to it. Yeah, the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? Woo! Okay. Back to this.
Reports coming out. Jalen Hurts is a problem.
Whoa. What?
That's Mr. Fowler. Jeremy Fowler at ESPN reported basically is our latest at ESPN as he describes his entire article alongside Tim McManus. Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads. Despite his immense success, sources say he has a hand in the Eagles' offense becoming calcified and frustrations have grown.
Uh-oh.
Pull up the definition of calcified, please, just so we can do that. Hardened by deposition of or conversion into calcium carbonate or another insoluble calcium compound. I go to the toxic table at Boston Connor, more specifically at Ty Schmidt, who got into Harvard, chose to go to Iowa because he wanted to be a Big Ten angler. Okay, no big deal. What the hell does he mean by calcified? Basically saying that Jalen Hurts has put the Eagles offense into a position where it can't go up or it can't go down. It's basically just here. And in the article, they say he likes certain routes. He likes doing things. He likes throwing it out here. He doesn't like these things. He changes plays to be ass plays, is what an anonymous source told Jeremy Fowler in a nutshell, this whole thing. Now, you read that, okay, especially as what we saw last year coming out of Chicago Bears camp, with how Caleb Williams was kind of being talked about by anonymous sources.
Yeah.
You go here to Philadelphia, you see anonymous sources, you start thinking to yourself, well, who would be saying play calls are good? That guy was changing them to ass call. You can start piecing things together, or maybe this is fresh out of the league meetings. The overall narrative was like, hey, there's a bigger problem here, and it's not just A.J. Brown opening up books on the sideline saying he hates what's it become over there. Is everybody unhappy? Is Jalen now the enemy? This is a wild article to have here on this April 1st.
From Michigan for college basketball. Yeah, maybe big talk right now for Arizona. We'll see what happens with Michigan, though.
fresh out of the league meetings, and I really don't know how to take it. Nick Sirianni's being called Chud.
Yeah.
We didn't love because of how he looks. He looks like he's a little bit jacked, but he certainly doesn't have a six-pack just yet. But now the Eagles, even more drama, which is seemingly the case with this team all the time. Now all eyes seemingly are on Jalen Hurts. That's crazy. This guy just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, Ty.
Yeah, based on the context clues, I assume that is what calcify means in this situation, is basically that the offense is just stagnant because of him. Stays the exact same, doesn't change. But like you said, it is very interesting because this is the big thing we've kind of talked about with the Eagles, even before they won that Super Bowl when they went a couple years ago with Steichen. I mean, it seems to always be a new offensive coordinator. Is it this guy's fault? We know how the fans treat him. Fans hate every offensive coordinator that comes in, then gets, Sirianni kind of gets some of that backlash as well. But it does make you think, because, I mean, this stuff has come up before, but I think that's always been our response, kind of like, listen, this guy just won a Super Bowl. He cannot be the only reason that Philadelphia's offense kind of has looked like shite for the better part of the last year and a little bit before that. But it is very interesting that a couple people are kind of taking shots at him.
9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler is here. 11-6 was the record. Okay, that's last year. Now,
be good for a lot of franchises.
Yeah, certainly would be. Now, Philadelphia, fresh off a Super Bowl, can't have it. We got to look better. We got to look the part. We got to be the part every single week. We need to be better than what we're showing. And also, when our star players that we have paid to be star players are coming out and saying, I hate this. I hate all this publicly in the middle of the season. Obviously, that's not good. Fans are expecting a certain thing. Team obviously wants to win every game. Jalen Hurts has won the entire thing and has played very well. I mean, dagger. Let's not forget about what that is from Jalen Hurts. But that's one of those throws he likes.
Oh, you're right.
And he did call that play. They said he actually did call that particular play. But the drama seemingly never ending around Philadelphia. Is this a real thing of content here, you think, with this Philadelphia Eagles, especially with this article coming out, especially the timing of the article? Do you think this is going to be something that might affect the building in Philadelphia?
Definitely real. I've been hearing these rumblings for some time now. As you know, I'm in Philly. I fly into Philly every week during the NFL season to shoot at films, which is right in Jersey. So obviously fans talk, and people are in the building, people that work in the building. So you hear these things about the quarterback, and the quarterback position is always going to be a bunch around them. I thought, usually people are a fan of the quarterbacks and the players who win the big games, who win the big moments. As we know, the Eagles, they're one of my teams. Why I became an Eagles fan is because of Jalen Hurts. I liked how he played. I liked how he led. I liked all those things. Same thing on the other side of the country with Justin Herbert.
And if you Butler became an Eagles fan, but I get it because it's like I said too. Even though I'm a Dallas fan, I know I'm supposed to hate the Eagles, but I just can't because I've watched many of those players that they have, and when Jalen Hurts was at Alabama, when Devontae Smith was at Alabama, when Landon Dickerson was at Alabama, all of those. So it's difficult for me to hate on the Eagles, and I agree with Butler on this. I think a lot of people, became fans, or at least have more compassion towards the Eagles because of Jalen Hurts.
Look at the narratives around these two different quarterbacks. Everyone loves Justin Hurts. Hey, get some help around him. Get some things. He's got to get over the hump. Got to win a playoff game. And then you look at Jalen Hurts. You say, oh, he has a good offensive line. He has Saquon. He has good.
Ty, baby. You said big respect to you. Shout out to you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Very much. Thank you for that. Oh, wait. Are you an Eagles fan? Too? That's cool if you're an Eagles fan. Well, I mean, I'm not. I'm a Dallas fan, but I will go for the Eagles. Like I went for the Eagles in the Super Bowl because I love Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson. So that's okay. Yes, girly. Okay, cool. Well, welcome. I don't believe I've seen you in the chat before, but welcome. Good to have you here. We have another Eagles fan that comes in the chat as well, Erroneous E. He is a Eagles fan. So welcome. Touchdown Tribe, welcome in. Ty baby. Show her some Touchdown Tribe love and appreciation. Haha, I know, but gained a follow out of me. I'm always looking for more female lead pages that are into football. Heck yes, right? That's so cool. Yeah. As soon as I seen your picture and I clicked on it, I was like, I think she's an Eagles fan. And it's yeah, I mean, I'm not it's not as rare as people think that women are into sports, and those Eagles fans, like they come with it. The women that are Eagles fans, they know their stuff too. They're, of course, the Dallas fans, and now you're getting a lot of Chiefs fans as well. So I don't believe it's as rare as that people think. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you for welcoming her in. I appreciate that. Yeah, we like Eagles fans over here.
He has a good defense. Anybody could win a Super Bowl in that situation. So there's different narratives around it. I'm sure there's some truth to it as well. But we know this about quarterbacks. A lot of times they do bump heads with people. They want to do things their way. And look at that list, the graphic that we had up with all those different play callers that's been in his ear since becoming a starter. Like, that's abnormal. And obviously, even in a league where offensive play callers move on, he has an offensive coach. Like, this is abnormal. Usually with these great quarterbacks, you have continuity with play callers for some time.
3 out of 5 years he's created a head
So
coach.
you talk about all the changes that's been there for offensive coordinators since, you know, Jalen Hurts. It's a lot of change. It's a lot of adjustment. I know I would understand if there is frustration for Jalen Hurts if he's trying to get adjusted to a different offensive scheme. Like, that's not unusual to me in that aspect of it, because I've seen, like I said, I've kept up with Jalen Hurts since he was at Alabama, right? I've seen Jalen Hurts struggle with different offenses and trying to get adjusted. That's why he got benched. But he is a quarterback that can persevere. He's proven that throughout his career since college. He's proven that he can persevere, adapt, and adjust, and progress. So it's like me and Erroneous E were talking about. I don't like the hate that he's getting, but Chelsea, I'm silently watching. I just got back from the doctors. I'm gonna lay back for a while. Okay, well, I hope everything's good. If you want to hit me up in Discord or on Instagram, let me know anything. You're more than welcome to. But I hope all is good. I hope your doctor, like, you know, whatever you want for the doctor for, I hope everything is good information. But yeah, just kick back and relax. That takes a lot out of you after visiting the doctor or the dentist.
Yep.
True.
Okay, he knows that.
Yeah. Remember, even
He
right in
knows
the
that
show,
as well.
we were talking about Baker Mayfield and the coaches that have gone on and coached him went on to be head coaches. And so it's a lot of narrative. When it's Philly, it's going to be a big talking point because of their market, their team, their brand. And when you don't win at all, especially with a team like that, it's going to be loud shit like this.
In the article, team source said, poor body language. Always bought in, not the most coachable, and players notice. I would like to say, I don't love that this is all anonymity. Okay? It's like these people's lives will not be jeopardized. I understand that there should be anonymous sources and things that are very real in the world, and you need whistleblowers and all this type of stuff. In sports, this seems pretty cowardice.
I don't agree with Pat McAfee on this, because it's like I said earlier. These anonymous, they do need to stay anonymous for certain reasons, because if they out themselves and teams see that, they see that this person released that information, they might not be inclined to go to you again to break news. They might be like, well, this person outs information and puts his name on it. I don't want to use him. This is why you see Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter talks about, like, his anonymous sources. Like, he doesn't reveal names, and then he doesn't confirm anything or release information until he's allowed by these certain teams. So there's just various reasons why they need to remain anonymous, and I'm not saying that's a safety reason at all. because I know that the argument, well, they don't have any safety issue here, so why are they remaining anonymous? And it's not for that. It's mainly because they have a responsibility to these people that gives them information to report on. And if they cross a line and disrespect them, that person's not willing to share anymore. So I get why they want to remain anonymous. And plus, you don't want to put your name on it and then it turns out to go a different way. Like, I mean, I get this. Like, I get why it's anonymous. Stand on business if you're going to say something, but put your name behind it. Yeah, it's just a fragile situation because these careers, they have these relationships with these teams and with certain people that work there, and they have to respect that relationship, because if they break that, then we no longer get breaking news information from these sources because people are no longer willing to work for them. So I get why they need to remain anonymous. Now, if you're just reporting things that are absolutely, this is where I draw the line. If you're just reporting things that are absolutely false, I don't like that. And I will agree that I don't like this one as much because it's just another slander campaign on Jalen Hurts. I don't really agree with that. I don't agree with that. But again, it's coming from somebody in that Eagles building. That is the source of this information.
This feels pretty cowardice. Will we cover it?
Got to.
We're part of the problem.
Yeah, you do have
we are certainly a part of the problem, and maybe this is how business is done, to get things to happen. But that's a real quote right there. That's and the players
and
notice. It's
saying. Like Pat McAfee did say, maybe that's how business is done to get things out like this. It is. It's just part of the business. That's how you get this breaking news information. And this is how people don't burn a bridge with the different teams and the different people that work inside these organizations that provide breaking news so to these reporters.
Question and leadership basically not being bought in. Other players notice and they hear the player.
Some of the criticism is understandable, but I've always felt it's always overblown with Hurts. Spot on. Spot on. It's so true. It's overblown. And you've seen it time and time again with Hurts. And I also thought the Nick Sirianni one, which granted his job, he was considered one of the head coaches on the hot seat the year that he won the Super Bowl. But I remember saying this, I was like, this is kind of odd to me. Because he's winning games and people were going at him. I remember, I think they lost to the Falcons and people were ready to have him fired. But then he turns around and he wins the Super Bowl. So it's like people just, it's very overblown.
See, it's like Philadelphia is such a fascinating place. And the head coach is being called a chud right now, has also been called big dumb dipshit in the past.
That's right.
And they've won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They've won a Super Bowl. So good luck to all parties over there. Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, but it's clearly not nothing. Like, that's why we have to talk about it. It's because this isn't the first time. If this was the first time we've heard, like, oh, there's, some stuff going on in the Eagles locker room, fine. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but Brandon Graham on a radio interview basically said, like, yeah, the locker room, Jalen, AJ Brown, like, they're not seeing eye to eye. And whether that was, outside voice or inside voice on the outside, whatever the hell you say, that wasn't supposed to be said. And then Brandon Graham says it, and then all of a sudden, no, this is nothing. And then there's the whole entire, they had a handshake thing. AJ, Saquon, and, Jalen were, they settled their differences. And then they asked AJ Brown about it, and AJ Brown's like, I don't remember that. That never happened. So it's not as if this is just out of nowhere. The timing of it is interesting right after the league meetings. That is fascinating. But, like, there is something within that locker room that isn't right. That has caused problems. And whether or not AJ Brown is there next year, right now, how he is. So if AJ Brown goes back and that they figure it out, that's amazing. But let's say AJ Brown leaves and then some stuff happens. It's like then there are real questions about the Jalen Hurts thing.
And if you remember it was either last year at this exact time or right before the season, there was another long ESPN article detailing how Sirianni and Jalen Hurts didn't get along like at all. And that was one big thing that they had to kind of come face to face, before the season started and like, hey, we have to put our swords down. Like we have to make this work. So yeah, exactly. It might not all be true, but Jalen Hurts is at the center of all this stuff. Like, and his name continually gets brought up. So it probably is a little more than nothing.
All right.
You probably remember that too, Ty, baby, is the fact that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts at the beginning, they were making claims that they weren't getting along and all of that, which it's like you said before, it gets overblown. Like they blow that up like it's nobody's business, and it's unfortunate because I don't see this much like information with almost any other team. Like, yeah, you'll see it every now and then, but to this degree is extreme. Let me read this comment from you though. Our owner just praised Hurts in his presser at the owners meeting, and now they want me to believe he is the problem. This is where I push back a bit, right? Yeah, you have to push back on that. Yes, this is every year for us Eagles fans, honestly. Truth. Right? No other team. Yeah, you don't. And I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan, right? So I can speak on things like this. And I don't see it to this degree. Like, even with the Dak Prescott hate and the criticism he gets, to this degree, it's like, it's unfortunate. And it's always it's the timing of it. And I believe that, like Pat McAfee talked about it, it's the timing of it. Right before the season's getting to start, this starts happening. All right, here's more on this.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who's going to break down the situation in Philadelphia with their quarterback better than us. And to be honest, I learned of the situation through this man's Twitter account, where he has certainly been active this morning on his thoughts. This guy played in the NFL for 14 years. He's Super Bowl champion with New Orleans Saints. Now, ESPN guy, and I think he has his own show as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Chase Daniel.
Yay!
Chase, sorry we're hoisting the cone there. Had to do it.
I love it. What's the Padres one? I'm taking my son to a Padres game today. I'm taking him out of school. Does the Padres have something cool?
We'd have to ask Ruben over there at Fanatics. I'm sure there's something that nobody's thought of yet that is certainly going to become a lucky charm. On that note, family forever. Love that. Mm-hmm. It's a good hat.
Yeah, love them. They're good people over there. I got about 15 of these hats. Every time I'm on, I'm trying to wear something like that. I love what they do as a company, man.
Yeah. I hope they're good people because we give them a lot of marketing. If they're like serial killers or anything,
yes.
And I've never met them.
They're great people.
Okay, good. Happy to hear that. Family forever. Yeah, good hats. We so appreciate the hats you sent us. Chase, let's talk about family, maybe not forever. Let's talk about a football team becoming a family. Let's talk about an organization becoming a family, especially with the amount of paisans that are over ish family over there. The story that Fowler reported this morning, fresh out of league meetings about Jalen Hurts. First of all, we talked about this earlier. We do feel as if we are a part of the problem as we are continue to amplify anonymous sources within a building. Don't love that anonymous sources happen in sports. Don't think your life is in danger. We understand where there is a need for anonymous sources in sports. It feels weird, especially with this type of shit that's coming out here. Chase, how abnormal is everything that's being said from in this building, especially for a guy that's won a Super Bowl? And why do you think it's happening? And what are next steps? Kind of just take it everywhere in every thought that you have about the situation, Chase.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. I was watching Yale's A Block and Open, and just the fact that the anonymous sources to me says it all. I absolutely hate that. Like, put your name behind it because these are people's careers and jobs and stuff like that. On that note, when I read this article, it's like another Jalen Hurts hit piece. It seems to like be coming out every single year, and the timing is really weird, right? AJ Brown trade didn't go through. Now we're back to talking about Jalen and everything. This is not normal, Pat. Like for team sources, whatever it may be, to be talking.
He is respectful on this. I will say that. I'll give him credit. He was more respectful in this discussion. Which is a crazy thought. He does throw a little shade at the Eagles though.
to reporters and getting this news out there, right? Like you want to protect the family, you want to protect the team. So when I see this, I'm like, well, do they not love him? Do they?
Erroneous C, I don't know if you were able to hear me if you were just listening, but we have another Eagles fan in the chat. Ty Baby, she's an Eagles fan.
Not do this. Like he's one of he's one of 8 quarterbacks to go to 2 Super Bowls in the first 5 years of his career, right? But I think because of what's being said in this article, there are a lot of parallels you can really draw to his play. And that's where I take it, is like the play on the field at times, right? He's known for his clutch gene. He's known for his winning. He's known for all this stuff. And I'm saying this, and I'm probably the Philadelphia Eagles public enemy number 1. Like Philadelphia fans absolutely hate my guts because they think when I'm talking about Jalen, they think that I'm like criticizing him as a person. No. Look, we're just talking about his play. And you guys saw last year, right? He's going to be on 6 different play callers, I think, in 6 years.
Yes.
Something's got to give. And
But
I think
I mean, I will, I'm going to give pushback on that. It's not Jalen Hurts' fault that they have different offensive coordinators. These offensive coordinators go on to do different things. And he's not the only quarterback that's experienced this. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to keep letting him talk.
the article hits on a lot of correct things.
Oh, yeah, and another
when
thing,
it
talking about his play, like, we get that you're not talking about his character, but then he brought up, I'm just talking about his play, as if this man didn't win a Super Bowl. Clearly, his plays are doing something right if he won a Super Bowl.
to his time on the field, because his time on the field, right, it's very vanilla. What Jalen Hurts does really well, he wants to sit back and shotgun. He wants to see everything, and he's really a half-field type progression
And see, this
guy.
is where I'm
You
getting
don't really.
pushback because he's acting as if that didn't work for him. He won a Super Bowl playing like this. So what are you talking about? Like, what are you getting at? I mean, it was good enough to win a Super Bowl, so I would understand. Okay, I would be okay with this if he was talking about he's going to have to switch up his game. He's going to have to do something different. Like, as a quarterback, you have to learn and adapt to new offensive schemes. I get that. Like, I would be okay if it was something like that. But just to act like this, like what he's done in the past hasn't worked, is insane to me. Because clearly it's worked if he's won a Super Bowl. First they love you, then they hate you, then they love you again. Fly, Eagles, fly. Oh, man.
See him, he doesn't feel comfortable going under center. You don't see him sweeping the field 1, 2, 3, 4 like other quarterbacks, and that's fine. But when you have
clearly it
an
is fine
offense
because he won a Super Bowl
that has surrounded him like that, with full of all pros, Saquon Barkley, like the best running back in the world, AJ Brown, you're talking about trading one of the better receivers in the NFL. It's just a really interesting thing. And so that's why just zone coverage, G-Bot, you know this better than anyone, zone coverage, it just makes Jalen sort of freeze up, right? You don't know, he doesn't know where to go at certain times. When he's on time and in rhythm, it's good.
Thank you. I think he just doesn't play to the masses, how the masses deem as acceptable. He can never get comfortable in a system because the next year it's a new offensive coordinator. Exactly. Like, you have to, it takes time to get adjusted to a new offensive coordinator. It takes time to get adjusted to new wide receivers. It takes time. And I mean, Chase's thoughts here, and I will say he is being more respectful. Like, he started off being more respectful, but then, of course, now we're to this point. They just need something to pass the dead air time till preseason. They begging for these stories, right? That's 100% the truth, Erroneous E. That's all it is. At least a full season to be comfortable. And yeah, well, and then you think about how it took time for them to get adjusted. Like, people were ready. I talked about it before. People were ready to write the Eagles off after Nick Sirianni lost to the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is good. Like, this is a good offense. And then they won the Super Bowl. So I'm like, y'all were just out of your minds.
More often than not, it's not. But I'm with you guys. The anonymous sources drives me crazy.
And we're once again, we are amplifying the anonymous sources, so we feel terrible.
What
but
if?
it's a huge.
What if, y'all? What if Chase is the anonymous one? Wouldn't that be something? I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. I don't know if they would trust. I don't know if they would trust breaking any type of information to him, as much of a hater as he is.
Yeah. This is a gigantic story for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially because they've won a Super Bowl with this guy, they've paid this guy, and there's been drama seemingly surrounding him. Now, you talk about the 6 different play callers in 6 years, something has to give. He's made 3 head coaches, too. So it's like it's Sirianni, obviously, Shane, and then Kelly Moe in there. 3 of the guys head coaches still that have been his play callers. So it's like there has been some good. It's seemingly been way too negative, though. And to your point about the timing,
negative.
people are just getting too comfortable talking bad about the starting quarterback. Like people are way too comfortable talking bad.
Why is he nodding his head? He's over there talking. He's one of them. He's part of the problem. He's talking bad about Hurts, in my opinion.
About the starting quarterback. And I think that's what we're acknowledging about the entire situation. But if everybody's this comfortable talking bad about it, they feel handcuffed, I guess. They can't move on. How would you move on? And what would you move on to?
I mean, it's a tough spot to be in, obviously being, the quarterback of the Eagles. But back to on the field, Chase, do you see at this point in his career those things changing or him evolving or him doing those things better at the quarterback position?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think everyone can evolve. When you have a guy with the talent that Jalen Hurts has, you can absolutely evolve into that guy. And with Sean Mannion, right? LaFleur guy, McVay guy.
See, I agree with you on that. He almost won a Super Bowl with Miles Sanders as his lead back, who was struggling to find a starting job somewhere. The offensive line was the biggest weak link to me last year, and I agree with this. And part of it too is I've talked about Landon Dickerson. Shout out to Landon Dickerson. Roll Tide to him. But he struggled staying healthy. They're bringing him on again. And it's going to be interesting to see how he performs, right? Because he's had so many injuries. I mean, I've seen Landon Dickerson have injuries since Alabama. He missed a championship game because of an ACL injury. He was coming off of an ACL injury. I seen him get injured with the Eagles, and then, of course, this past season he was injured again. So if with him getting older and having all these injuries, he is at the end of his career, in my opinion. But they did sign him again, which is fascinating to me. So I'm interested to see how that goes with the Eagles. Saquon was also shut down in the SB, and Hurts was the run game. Yeah, that's truth. Yeah, y'all remember that in the Super Bowl? Which I was a fan of that. It was good to see Hurts escape the pocket and make plays on the run, because that's what he's good at. That's what he did at Alabama. And the pass, my favorite, the dagger to Devontae Smith. That was my favorite. But he has proven that he can. He is a passer. He's proven himself. It's like, what more do you want from him? But anyways, I want to keep letting this play.
Kubiak guy, you're going to see this year, this year is going to be a really good litmus test, in my opinion, for Jalen Hurts, because there is going to be a lot of under center, which he doesn't love to do, but he's successful when he does it. The run game is more.
This is interesting to me, because I feel like the most successful is in shotgun for in shotgun formation for the wait, is it shotgun? Let me look it up, because I could be getting it mixed up, because which offensive formation for QB in the NFL is most popular? Because I want to be accurate on this. Shotgun formation. I was right. I thought it was shotgun. So this is interesting to me. He's talking about him being under center. Why would he need to be under center if the offensive scheme the offensive formation that works in the NFL is being in shotgun? I'm missing something with that, because you don't normally. Why would he need to be under center? Like, I don't get that. I don't get where he's going with that. Shotgun has continually shown with an NFL offense that is what works. The roster excuse, or do you mean roster? The roster excuse also gets me. Okay, yeah, the roster. The roster excuse also gets me. Like, Jalen chose Howie. It's not his fault. His GM can draft well, and the org develops players well. Yeah. I feel like he just has some hurt feelings. I feel like he's a little bit bitter. Just because of his experience that he had with the Eagles. I feel like there's some bitterness there.
Successful when you do it, because you have the play action pass, you have under center run, you have outside zone, you have inside zone. I think the quarterback run game is going to be brought in more to what's happening.
He's talking about the quarterback run game. Well, we clearly know that Jalen Hurts exceeds all expectations when it comes to the quarterback run, so I don't see an issue there. As far as being in the under center thing is just bizarre. I'm just throwing that out completely, because that is just bizarre to me to say, when you see time and time again in the NFL, the formation for the quarterback is always going to be in shotgun versus under center. Under center, I feel like you see that more in college football, but there are exceptions, like Ty Simpson. They had Ty Simpson. This is why I want to get into covering Ty Simpson versus Mendoza, because Ty Simpson was built in a more NFL offensive scheme that prepared him versus Mendoza. Mendoza wasn't used to that. So I do think Ty Simpson has more experience with that, but that's another story for another time. I've been meaning to get to it for days, and I still haven't done it. Hurts has said he is open to anything and everything. And every QB has preferences, but good QBs will try any formation. Yes, see, and this speaks to Hurts' character, because Hurts has always been like that. Hurts has always been open to trying and developing and constantly getting better. He has a Nick Saban mindset, and you can see it in his interviews. So yeah, like, I don't see any, even if they did have even if it was a situation where they wanted to put him under center versus shotgun, like, Jalen Hurts can prove that he can adapt. Like, he can put in the work and get the job done. He's shown that time and time again. And when people were doubting him, they really doubted him as a starting QB, and he worked his butt off to get where he is. The QB runs won't be successful if the O-line. Yeah, see, this is where the O-line, like, the Eagles have to figure out something with the O-line, and I'm not confident. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not that confident in Landon Dickerson, considering his injuries, getting older. It's like I said, he's getting to the end of his career. So I really do feel like they need something for that offensive line. We weren't terrible, but it went from strength to liability. Yeah, exactly. The guy that's coach's son is uncoachable. Thank you. Like this doesn't even make sense, right? Yeah.
It's going to be a good litmus test this year to see, hey, if you can fit in this mold. I'm not saying they should move on, but by any means. But when you have an offense and you have that type of defense with Vic Fangio, you expect better results. And it's just Philly. Look, I played in Philly in 2016.
This is where I think he's bitter.
That locker room is different, man. Like everyone is very aware of everything that is being said about them and about other people. And I've witnessed at times that locker room can be a little divided. That was in 16, that was 10 years ago, right? Completely different head coach, completely different building. But Philly just seems to be like the negativity coming out of there is like at an all-time high.
Always, too. It seems like there's always.
I don't agree with this. His experience isn't everyone's experience. I think he's just bitter. I think he had a bad experience and it's made him bitter. That's just my opinion. I'm more concerned about Lane. He just can't stay healthy at all. Yeah. But with this guy, it's just I don't agree. Now, it could be true that the Eagles locker room could be this type of environment. But that's every locker room. You're going to find that anywhere and everywhere you go. And as far as like constantly seeing like news about them and talking about it, that's everybody. Everybody's going to see something about them. And you know what Jalen Hurts took from the Nick Saban playbook? He learned, don't pay attention to the rat poison. You think Jalen Hurts is listening to this? You think Jalen Hurts cares? No. He's focused on himself. He's focused on improving and getting better, which is what I think that guy needs to do, because he just sounds so bitter towards Jalen Hurts. So that's just my thoughts on that. Let's see. Go back to the show topics here. So we covered Jalen Hurts. I could get into I do have the Ty Simpson and the Mendoza topics loaded up. Wait, Riley Cooper was still with the Eagles in 2016. No wonder the locker room was divided. Yeah, right? Like he just had a bad experience. I think that's why he's bitter, is because maybe he was part of the problem. But I do have those videos loaded up that I've been meaning to get to for a while. I could go ahead and cover it because I've been wanting to discuss this Ty Simpson and Mendoza debate for a while. So I might go ahead and get into it. It is only 6 o'clock, so I hope our new OC can scheme. Only time we had an offensive coordinator that could scheme was Shane, and Hurts almost won MVP. The plays we run are based on talent and scheming. Players open makes it easier on the QB. Yeah, that's truth. And I do think whenever they had Kellen Moore, because that was the year you guys won the Super Bowl, I think whenever they had Kellen Moore, it was great. I really liked Kellen Moore whenever he was at the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't necessarily want him to be our head coach, but I did really like him, and I was upset when Mike McCarthy got rid of him, because I was like, great, things are really going to go downhill now, because Mike McCarthy just wants to try to prove that he can be offensive coordinator and a head coach, because it didn't work out for him at Green Bay. So then he was just trying to prove that it could happen for him. So then he tried it again at Dallas, and of course we know how that ended. He's no longer at the Dallas Cowboys, and now he's with the Steelers, and he does have an offensive coordinator at the Steelers, which I think that's the best thing for him, especially if Aaron Rodgers is there. But moving on, I think I want to discuss this Mendoza and Ty Simpson topic. What'd you say? Y'all had to let McCarthy go. He no good. Yeah, he was not good. And I knew that was how it was going to end with McCarthy. It was not a good situation. I knew last year was doomed when I seen Saquon on the Madden cover. Yeah, there's that theory. There's that theory, right? That anytime someone ends up on the Madden cover, that they don't perform well. His clock management was so bad. Oh, wait, are you talking? Oh, yeah. Right? Yes. Thank you. The clock management. Man, me and you are clicking. I really like you. Me and you are clicking. The clock management, I don't know how many, like, this was my biggest pet peeve was Dak Prescott, like, the play calls weren't coming through or they didn't have it ready. And so many times Dak Prescott had a delay of game because the play call wasn't there. I'm like, what are we doing? And you have I give respect to Dak Prescott. I think he's great, but he's not the best at these other talented QBs like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, even I don't know. It's debatable with Jalen Hurts, but like Mahomes, like some of these great quarterbacks can just read something and like change a play to a call that's gonna work. But I don't think Dak's one of them. Whenever there's like pressure there, it's like it does not work out. So to not have that play call ready for Dak, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. But granted, with Dak Prescott, at least he can make plays on the run. Although they have tried to shift him from that to just being more of a pocket passer, which is, what he's been more known to do, especially under Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy really wanted him to just be more of a pocket passer. I feel like Schottenheimer, he's definitely let Dak Prescott escape the pocket more. But yeah, you have to be a dual threat quarterback these days, in my opinion. My best friend is, this is funny. My best friend is a Cowboys fan, and she used to be livid watching games, and he was botching timeouts. Yeah. I definitely understand that. I'm not the type of Dallas Cowboys fan. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the Dallas fan that's telling you we're going to a Super Bowl every year. I'm not that type of Dallas fan. I know what it is with the Cowboys. This is what the Touchdown Tribe always hears me talk about. I know what it is with the Cowboys. I'm realistic about it. I'm not naive or delusional to anything that comes with being a Cowboys fan. But yeah, it is what it is. It is interesting though, like whenever the Eagles and the Cowboys are playing, I do of course go for the Cowboys, but if the Cowboys do lose, I'm not upset about it because I still like seeing Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson. I still like seeing those players win. So I don't get as upset as I used to. Now, whenever I didn't have no clue about any of the college players on the team, I definitely wasn't going for the Eagles back then. But then once I got into college football and I got attached to these college players and then I seen them in the NFL, it just makes it harder to not want to see them win. Okay, but speaking of college, let's move on to this little debate on Ty Simpson versus Mendoza, because I've been meaning to cover this for a while.
Yeah, Laura, no surprise that Ty Simpson was once again as advertised as a thrower today. There was precision passing, not just in the short and intermediate game, but down the field. And that was one of the questions that Ty was here to answer today, is what is his downfield arm strength like, especially when throwing a little bit off platform. On top of that, Ty, who knows...
A-Team, good to see you. I have your drop, A-Team, my little auntie A-Team. Let me go to my drops. I'm so excited that you're here. Y'all go subscribe to Steamy Stories, aka A-Team. A-Team, you can drop your... Do I have you as a... Let me add you as a mod on that channel. And you can drop your links, A-Team. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Alright. Go to my drops. And find A-Team's new drop.
I'm gonna take on the room now. Yeah, A-Team, you tell him.
That was A-Team defending me against G. Hudson. Oh, speaking of G. Hudson, we gotta play Derek's drop. Shout out to Derek if you're still listening. Let me see here.
leave Chelsea alone. What's wrong with you, G Hunter? I'm the one who
What's wrong
telling
with
you
you?
about your
What's wrong with you? You
fantasy.
think you
Listen,
just cause
listen.
come on, man? What you doing?
Send me your address so I can send you a rainbow flag.
Pick a
Since you
side.
want to look like Alicia Keys. That's okay, man. You can't even grow.
Damn
You
beanbag.
can't even grow enough hair. Man, I'm not accustomed to a man wanting to look like a woman, and you too dark to look like her. Why don't you? You know what? You look like a good Jennifer Hudson. That's what you would look like.
Man, you look like a gremlin, nigga. You look like a gremlin.
You too dark to be Alicia Keys. You look like a good Jennifer Hudson.
Hey, G Hudson. G Hudson.
You look like a gremlin and top rope look like a predator.
That's your name for the year. G Hudson. That's your name for the year. G Hudson.
Oh man, yeah. Switch over to Jennifer, man. We'll call you G Hudson from now on.
Jennifer Hudson.
Mean girl.
Chelsea black, real hard Chelsea with that big ass head.
Look,
he
needs
some milk. Hey, I told you to leave Chelsea alone.
Hey Chelsea, just let me get your hat. I'll go here at the same time.
I told you to leave Chelsea alone. It's getting bad. It's getting worse for you, man. Just let it go and live for
Yeah, G Hudson should have just left me alone. He should have listened to Derek, but he didn't.
Yeah, Laura, no surprise that Ty Simpson was once again as advertised as a thrower today. There was precision passing.
I've been meaning to add my little chat box to the drops page, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, y'all love that one. That one's a good one. And Aaron, Laura, if you could, if it's not too much to ask, if you guys could drop Go Creekree's channel in the chat, and then drop A-Team's channel in the chat as well, Steamy Stories, so people can subscribe and go check out that G Hudson roast.
Not just in the short and intermediate game, but down the field. And that was one of the questions that Ty was here to answer today, is what is his downfield arm strength like, especially when throwing a little bit off platform. On top of that, Ty, who noted to me after his workout that he is perhaps a better athlete than people give him credit for, threw the football effectively while on the move today during a 50 to 60 throw overall session. And a lot of these receivers obviously are very familiar to Ty, but it felt like the ball placement was most consistently where it needed to be. And Ty has had a busy past few weeks getting ready and geared up for today, Laura, but it's just getting started here for Ty, who's already had visits with teams prior to his pro day. He told me
good at his pro day at the NFL Combine. Ty Simpson performed really well, and they said that he performed better than Mendoza on that.
After the workout that he is next scheduled to work out for the Jets this upcoming Friday. That's a private workout, so teams that are canvassing quarterbacks in the first round beyond Fernando Mendoza are amongst the likes of the Jets at 2, the Cardinals at 3, the Browns at 6 and 24 as well. So the Jets, one of those teams that we have circled, are going to get a closer look at Ty this upcoming Friday.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of reporting coming out of that. Field, we appreciate you. You're sticking around for more. Simpson, by the way, one of 19 players participating in Tuscaloosa today. New on NFL Live, Field references he did talk with Simpson right after his workout, talking about what he wanted to show teams today.
I think, one, my IQ and the command at the line of scrimmage. You look at my tape, I'm always in the line doing something with our checks or getting us in the right place. So I feel like that, that sets me apart from a lot of other people. Two, I think people don't, give me enough credit for my athletic ability. On the boot, on runs, getting away from the pocket. I feel like that's a huge part of my game and something that, quarterbacks have to do during, playing in the NFL. And then, the third thing is my arm. I feel like I can make any throw on the field, whether it's on time or having to scramble and throw it down the field like I showed out in pro day. Just something that, I feel like that I showed out in the pro day and, made some throws.
Yeah, Field was talking about some of those throws he made. Looked really good. Dan Orlovsky, Adam Schefter with us now. And Dan, you're as optimistic as anyone about Ty Simpson's future. Why?
I just think when you watch the young man play this year, you can carbon copy so much of what he does, transfer it to the NFL, and you go, I got a starter for 10 years that's going to play at a high level. I think he's really good underneath the center, the play-action pass game, which we know has become a massive...
He did play under center. That's interesting, because I thought, for some reason, I thought it was like shotgun, but I guess he did really play under center. But the offensive scheme, it was definitely more geared towards preparing him for the NFL compared to Mendoza. The plays that Mendoza had wasn't like the NFL style that Ty Simpson was under.
Part of NFL offenses. I think he's really good dealing with panic moments. Laura, you know me. It's one of my favorite things for quarterbacks. What do you do in moments of panics? That decision-making element. I think he's really good downfield with his eyes. I call it playing with fast eyes. I think he's pretty darn good under pressure. I know there's been a lot of conversation of who he was under pressure at the end of the season. If you compare him to what most people believe should be the number one pick in the NFL draft, Fernando Mendoza, there's a lot of similarities, and I would make the claim that I think Simpson navigates the pocket just as good. And so it's not an offense in college that had a lot of gimme to it, easy. It was a lot of, I have to throw the ball down the field, 15, 20, 25-yard chunks, over defenders, in between defenders, in real windows. And I think you watch a lot of the things that he did, and you see a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, Baker Mayfield, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, at least schematically, operate very similar things.
Yeah, we've talked about this a good bit on this show, just the fact that the run game.
Ty Simpson, he didn't have as many interceptions as what Mendoza had. Welcome, Josh Smith. You're new here. A backup QB trying to critique Jalen Hurts. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think you might be a little bit behind on the show, but yeah, that's funny. Welcome, Josh Smith. Good to see you.
For Alabama was essentially non-existent as well.
Yeah, he got about 78 yards per game rushing from his running backs.
Good stats, Dan. You got it. It's true. Yeah, also some dropped balls as well. Adam, any sense about how Simpson is viewed by teams around the league?
Well, Laurel, I think clearly is the number 2 quarterback, despite what Dan says at this point in time, and we're waiting to see exactly where he goes in this draft. It's not easy to find a matching spot, and I think part of this is what happens Friday with the New Jets, who hold the 16th overall selection. Do the Jets like him enough there?
Yeah, I see your title. What is your opinion on the Jalen Hurts drama? Yeah, I gave my opinion. I would have to go back and find the timestamp of where I was talking about it, but if you catch the playback, you'll see where I spoke on my thoughts on this. But I love Jalen Hurts. I have no criticism towards Jalen Hurts whatsoever. I watched Jalen Hurts at Alabama, and I have experience with seeing like how he's overcome so many challenges. So I don't get it. It's just another overblown situation, as Ty Baby was talking about earlier in the chat. Because he's proven time and time again that he can persevere and overcome any type of challenge. So even if what they're saying is true, I think he can overcome it. I think he can adjust and adapt and be a great quarterback, because that's just in his nature. That's in his blood. Like he loves to prove people wrong. But welcome, Josh Smith. Welcome to the Touchdown Tribe. It's good to see you here, because you definitely are a new face. So everybody say hello to Josh. Beardman, what is up? Beardman, I need a drop for you. So you're going to have to send me something that you would want to be your drop. I know that you're a Miami Dolphins fan, so I don't know if you'd want it to be some Miami Dolphins or what, but send me a drop that you would want. And y'all, welcome in Josh. Welcome in Josh to the chat. Thank you, Aaron Laura, for welcoming in Josh to the Touchdown Tribe. We got some new rookies, new chat Touchdown Tribe rookies. So good to see Ty Baby, who's new, and Josh Smith.
And take him. I think there are questions
around the league about that actually will discussion about the brand.
Okay, I think Adam Scheffner was having audio issues in this. So we'll see how long they go on like this before Laura Rutledge cuts him off.
Adam is taking some technical hits here. We'll get back to him in just a little bit. Adam certainly providing the context there, though, that either way, the Jets are going to check him out on Friday.
Yeah.
And
Dan, if you're the Jets, what are you looking out for when they see him on Friday for that private workout? Take us inside, like, what those are even like.
Yeah, I would
don't
imagine that.
necessarily like the idea of him going to the Jets. So Ty Simpson, I would not want to see him go to the Jets. That's just another toxic team environment. I want to see these rookie QBs be able to go somewhere. There should be a requirement. Y'all, there should be a requirement in the NFL that these rookie QBs go to teams that have a stable veteran QB environment. I know this won't ever happen, but they need to go to teams with a stable veteran QB environment so they can develop and learn for a little bit of time before just sending them out. But I know that'll never happen because obviously you get number 1 draft pick and it's a QB, and then you got the talk about the Raiders, Jets, all of that. So
Number one is just being around him, how he carries himself. I think you'd love to get him thrown outside in a little bit of weather. That's what you're going to have to deal with, the reality. I know Alabama deals with it a little bit. It's not like Northeast weather, and so hopefully you can get a spring day in April or late March where it's a little bit windy. I think you want to just see him, can he drive the football in those environments at least as much as you can? And then what type of offense are you planning to run? And I would try to get him to operate some of those things, at least scheme-wise, that you want to operate. Frank Reich, their offensive coordinator, do you want to go in the gun more? Do you want to go in shot in underneath the center more? Do you want to do a little bit more?
I was just talking about this. I was talking about this with the Jalen Hurts topic on Chase saying that he's having a hard time adjusting if it was going to be under center, which in the NFL, you are in shotgun more versus under center.
Bootlegger play action. So putting him in those elements and just seeing how he handles it, I think is an important part.
Yeah, as you see right there on your screen, Mel has the Jets taking him at 16. You have a touchscreen coming up later.
Name brand, welcome in. Jalen Hurts is breaking the stigma of the NFL, and they hate it. They absolutely hate it. Welcome in, name brand. You're new to the chat, so welcome to you. But yeah, that's true. Jalen Hurts is breaking the stigma, and they don't like to see it.
Later in the show, tell us just a very quick teaser on what that's going to be.
It's probably my favorite play of the season for him, 4th and 8 against Missouri. Has to evade pressure, and there's also nowhere to throw the football, and he throws it perfectly.
All right, you'll see more on that later in the show. Let's get to the other pro day that's happening today that we've got our eyes on. Field has 5 Ohio State players going in the first 2 rounds of his latest mock. 4 of them going in the top 6. Arvell Reese to the Cardinals, Sonny Styles to the Titans, Caleb Downs to the Giants,
I need to clip this up and save that part for another day because I do want to discuss these Ohio State players that are expected to go number 1 in the draft. But moving on.
Let's talk about the meat of what you're into right now, which is making Ty Simpson a top 5 draft pick in the NFL. Okay, we respect that and appreciate it. We saw your narrative early whenever you tried to bury Fernando Mendoza. You found out after watching more tape, bad idea, shouldn't do that, Fernando. This guy's a really good player and a really good guy. He's a certified, legitimized number 1 overall pick. But let's talk about this guy from Alabama who certainly had an incredible season before he got hurt and is also a Nick Saban disciple, they're saying. You've been high on Ty since the very early in this entire scouting season, we'll say, for Dan Orlovsky. What are you hearing now? What are your thoughts now as you continue to dive into it all? And whenever we said, don't you be saying that against Fernando, we're never putting down Ty. We are fans of Ty.
That's not what we do.
We think Ty's a good player, but it sounds like he's getting hotter in the streets, if you will, Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, I would
I
tell
do
you
believe
that my
people are underestimating Ty Simpson. And when you listen to Dan Orlesky's comments, there's one comment that you just can't avoid that he talks about.
feelings on both of these players really haven't changed since the start of me watching all of their tape. I think I have 2 games left of Ty's. I'm done with Fernando's. Where I stand on Ty Simpson, the positives are, I think he's surgical, throwing like real NFL concepts down the field. He's phenomenal down in the red zone. When you watch him, and like when I watch him, I see so much of Brock Purdy. The layered throws, the intermediate game, that ball, that 15, 20 yards down the field ball, it's consistently in the right place. I love how often and consistently he has to throw either between defenders or over defenders, because that's real life for high-end quarterbacks in the NFL. There's playmaking ability there. And so, like, there's ownership and control of the line of scrimmage. I have games, Pat, I'm just being completely candid. I have games when I watch of Ty Simpson and the Wisconsin game, the Missouri game, the Vandy game, the first Georgia game, where I think he's like the best player in the field. Like, he carries Alabama in those football games. And they're not easy throws. They're challenging throws. They're difficult, real NFL throws. I felt that way about Jaden Daniels. And so, it's hard for me to dispute that. It's hard for me to not watch all those throws that are getting made in those moments.
So Orlesky does his homework. He's watched all the game footage on Ty Simpson. He's seen how he's performed in this NFL style type of offense, and he sees the talent there. And he's compared Ty Simpson with Mendoza's footage. So he does have a good understanding of this.
And I just am very impressed with this tape. The negatives, I think one of the negatives is a very interesting conversation, because the negatives are the size and the starts.
Yeah, the size, I get the size comments. You're always going to have that. You had that with Bryce Young. So I get, people talking about the size. I see people doing that now with Kyler Murray. They say he needs to bulk up some, being at the Vikings, to be less injury prone. So I get some of those.
The size I can have a conversation about. I do think it's worth talking about the college starts with guys. I think your tape should matter more than how much tape you have.
And I agree. I agree with Dan Orlesky on this, and I can show you why I agree with him on this, because I've seen Nick Saban make comments about this. Let me remember where I'm at here. Okay, 253. So here is Nick Saban talking about these players and what the NFL scouts and everybody ask him.
All these freshmen who want to play as freshmen. And we've had, I don't know, you can count them up. How many guys have gone out early for the draft? So if it's 45 guys, I don't know if that's the right number or not. I've had 32 phone calls times 45, whatever that number is, in the thousands, right? I've never been asked once how much a guy played as a freshman. Never. Not once. Everybody wants to know, what did you develop into? All these freshmen who want to play as freshmen.
He's comparing the freshmen and this at the time whenever he was head coaching. He was comparing all the freshmen and sophomores even who want to start, but the NFL is not asking those questions. The NFL is asking what's your footage, how did you perform in the times you did start. So with the starting, I see it a lot lately with Ty Simpson, is people are saying that as a negative. Well, he only started this certain amount of time, but look at what he was under. Look at who he was under. He got to be in a position where he was getting raised up by these veteran QBs in the college aspect, because he was under Jalen Milroe, so he got to learn. He had time to develop, and He had plenty of success. He had, I think, more passing yards than Mendoza. He had less interceptions. So even that was just in a short period of time. So does it really matter how long he played? I don't think so. He could never see the blitz coming, so I don't know. Yeah, well, see, here's the thing with that. Like, he can't control what his offensive line's doing. The offensive line was collapsing. I put that more on the offensive line than I do Ty Simpson, because there are plenty of plays, like plenty of game footage where Ty Simpson did see the blitz and he made plays on the run. He escaped the pocket and got us some first downs. And if it hadn't been for that, then we definitely wouldn't have gotten where we had gotten. And yeah, so let's continue on. Okay, and there's another comment from Kirby Smart as well that I wanted to play.
You don't get drafted by playing. You get drafted by playing good. So what allows you to play good? Work.
So you don't get drafted by playing, you get drafted by playing good. So it doesn't matter when you play. It matters, do you play good? And Ty Simpson, I think, has proven he's played good. Now, I'm not saying, not even Dan Orlovsky said this guy's getting drafted #1. He didn't say, any of that. All he said was he thinks Ty Simpson's going to get moved up higher than what people are expecting. And it stirred up all this controversy.
Let's talk about the meat of what you're into right now.
Here.
And the amount of starts these guys get is just a different era in college football now. Jalen Milroe started not in the 25 season, but in the 24 season for Alabama. How much does NIL factor into a certain guy being the starting quarterback now, rather than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was like, no, the best player is going to play. Because nowadays with NIL, how much does that guy, we're paying him, so he's the starting quarterback. I think for a lot of these guys, it's like, is the best quarterback always playing at these schools? Or is it the quarterback that has been promised the most or making the most that is playing? And how is it going to affect some of these guys in their college starts as it moves forward?
Yeah, it's unfair if that is the way it is going, which I think you are certainly speaking the truth. We've seen a couple different, teams tank themselves basically because of promises made on who would be playing at the most important position on the field, as opposed to maybe giving somebody else. Has to take at least 75% of the starting reps if healthy, because you're probably paying per game as well, so he needs to be in these games if he's healthy. There's a lot of that happening in college football, which obviously we don't love, but it does feel like the cream does rise to the top, and I think Ty Simpson certainly did that at Alabama. And I think when it comes to the starts and the amount of play, I think he has 15 starts if my number's accurate. I think it's like 15 starts. Will certainly be held against him if he stinks in the NFL. Yeah. It'll certainly be held against him.
I don't think it should be held against him as far as the draft is concerned, because you pay more attention to how did you perform, like Nick Saban and Kirby Smart's talking about. You're paying attention more to how they perform, because Nick Saban's never been asked, or at the time whenever he was still coaching, never was asked about how did or like when did a player start, how many starts. It was just always how did they perform, what was their tape, what's their footage. And I think his footage and even the short amount of time that he did play, like his stats speak for itself, because like I said, he had less interceptions than Mendoza, and Mendoza started more than Simpson. So what's up, Eric Jordan? Good to see you. I have your drop. Let me remember where I'm at here. 424. Let's play Eric Jordan's drop.
Why are you fumbling my football?
My blockers were built.
Your blockers ain't got nothing to do with you holding the ball. Did your blockers fumble the football, or did you fumble the football?
I did, sir.
All right. How many feet are in a mile? How many feet are in a mile? 5,280 feet. You pick this ball up, you run every one of them. You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me.
That part always gets me from Coach Boone. You're killing me, PD. You're killing me.
Let's talk about the meat of what you're into right now, which is
I believe I was at 423 here.
Stinks in the NFL. It'll certainly be held against him. But if he comes in and does really well, they'll be like, Joe Burrow got a late start whenever he went down to LSU, had 1 year, and then he had a national championship year. It's always like...
I forgot about Joe Burrow. I don't know how I forgot about this with Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow didn't start at Ohio State. Remember, he started out at Ohio State and then transferred to LSU, and that year he won the national championship and all of that. That was the only year he played football.
It's all whether or not you look mature or not on the field when you're playing. Feels to me like Ty is a mature player. Like, it does feel like he is a mature player. On the field, off the field, I think he's an incredible leader. Obviously sat behind. So with the start...
I take that back. Didn't they bring Geno back to the Jets? If Geno starts, I wouldn't mind Ty Simpson sitting under Geno. I wouldn't mind that because, Geno does have experience in the league. I know he's had a rough go at it, but I wouldn't necessarily mind Ty Simpson going to the Jets as long as he sits under a veteran QB. But it is a very, very bad environment with the Jets, as we know.
It's only being 15, we have certainly seen with Anthony Richardson here in Indianapolis not having a lot of starts. Sure. We've seen a downside of not having, but I think you can tell if somebody's a mature football player. Like, I don't want to say mature human because I think everybody has to go through life and mature. I got arrested when I was in the NFL and that changed my life a lot. So I'm not going to judge 22, 23-year-olds in this entire thing, but I'm talking about as football players. Ty Simpson feels like a mature football player out there because how long he's been, how long he's been in the building, how many reps he's probably taken practice, how many, everything he's done. Now, granted, he might go out there and suck, and we will certainly say, we should have done. This guy had 15 starts. This guy never played football. Then we're going to drop him in the NFL. But it doesn't
feel right. This is my concern. If Ty Simpson was to go to somewhere like Jets and to start, and if he was to get all this criticism, that's where I'm going to be concerned because I don't want him going somewhere starting and then him having difficulty there and then everyone just saying, oh, it's his fault. This is why he never should have been drafted. He didn't have that much experience at Alabama as a starting QB. I don't want that. I think this is why you need to see him sit and just be under a veteran QB and be in a healthy, stable organization, which I don't think the Jets is that, but we'll see what happens.
I feel like that whenever you watch him and whenever you kind of talk to him and everybody around him,
Yeah, one, he's the son of a coach, so I'm sure that he's been, at least in the maturity of a football world or a football player, there's got to be positives that he's carried about that. I don't know the young man. I've never spoken to him or met him, but just when you watch his tape, you're just like, dude, it's hard to just run from the tape. That's like, I'll continue to go back to that. It's hard to just run from you watching the throws after the throw after the throw after the throw. And honestly, you're watching Alabama. This was not a good offensive line. They get to a point where they're trying to throw the ball to a 6'7", 350-pound offensive tackle to try to generate offense.
That's so true.
And what do you do?
I don't. Yeah, did some decent stuff with it, but I don't think
decent. Jalen DeBoer and Grubb have no brain because they're trying to be innovative. Okay.
There's a ton of drops. The young superstar Ryan Williams, I don't think played well.
Remember in Coop's chat, people were saying, Ryan Williams is a dog at Alabama. I was like, what? I was like, did you not see? Y'all didn't see how he played this past season. No, he was not. He really digressed, and he's going to have to prove, Ryan Williams is going to have to prove himself this upcoming season because he did not perform well. The first year he came in, whenever he was the youngest to be in a starting position at Alabama at 17 years old, that right there, he's going to have to prove himself.
Cuevas is probably the most consistent player. Jeremy Bernard was nice, but even then there's drops.
Wide receivers had a lot of drops. It ticked me off so bad.
So I wanted to see how he rebounded from some of those drops in games. I just am very impressed with his tape. I've gotten to the point where, yes, I'm impressed with Fernando. I don't think Fernando, for me, is a no-brainer lock. I think that there's stuff in his game that is going to have to get improved for him to become a really, really good player in the NFL.
Okay.
I will say this about.
Okay, Dano, hold on. AJ's got a question for you.
No, I just want to jump in. Yeah, what are your concerns? What do you think, I guess, Fernando needs to improve upon?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to be watching early? And is there a chance that they possibly bring in, like, a Flacco, Kirk Cousins, and have Fernando develop a little bit?
I would love to see them have Kirk Cousins. I would absolutely have a veteran there.
That's what I said earlier. I said Kirk Cousins. I think that would be good at the Raiders because you want to see these rookie QBs sit under a veteran and develop.
The things that you want to see him do more consistently because you just don't see it. And I don't know if it's something that he can or can't, AJ, because he doesn't do it a lot on his tape, is you don't see Fernando Mendoza go through progressions down the field a lot. Like, hey, 1 to 2 to 3 on deeper throws. He does a good job of like, hey, I've got a good understanding. Now, they get a lot of man coverage because they ran so many RPOs. They saw a ton of man coverage. So he saw a lot of times you can tell, like, I know where the ball's going before I get the snap from the quarterback. Like, oh, yep, you're in man. Here comes this back shoulder fade or go ball or corner route. And he throws it phenomenally. That's why his body's in position all the time. But you don't see him go from like, okay, I want to launch this deep post to nope, it's not there. I want to get to this crosser. Nope, I want to get backside to this end.
What'd you say, Dana? I'm sorry.
You just don't see him go through a lot of like the.
But you can just tell Dan Orlesky really studies the film and knows what the difference is between Ty Simpson and Mendoza. So I really, based off his homework of just studying this film, there's just certain things that you just can't argue with what he's saying. And it surprises me that he's getting so much pushback for this thought of Ty Simpson possibly moving up in the draft, which is now more people are considering that a possibility. But it's just been interesting. Here's another one with Dan Orlesky on Greg McElroy's show. Greg McElroy, he played for Alabama. He was Alabama's quarterback at one point in time and won a championship with Greg McElroy. He also commentates for college games. So here is Dan Orlesky on Greg McElroy's show, and he gives more in depth on this. Let's see what you said. A lot of it, guys making business decisions early in their career, as far as Ryan Williams. Well, the interesting thing with Ryan Williams is, Ryan Williams starting out, like I said, he was great. His first season at Alabama was great, and then this past season he fell off. So now he has a lot to prove. I was concerned, and y'all, I showed you guys Trey and Nick, and this was when I was on their podcast, but I was talking to them since they played college football, and I was like, do you think that Ryan Williams would transfer since he didn't do well at Alabama? And I think it was Nick. Nick was like, heck no, he's got no choice but to stay because he doesn't have the stats to show that he can perform well to any other school. So who's going to want to spend NIL money? So where Ryan Williams at now, remaining with Alabama, is the best thing for him because he still has a good NIL deal. He still has a chance to prove himself. So it was just the best environment just to stay. What is up, Tierra? Good to see you. Oh, Tierra, I have your drop. Let's play it. Let me go through the list here. The list's getting longer, y'all. The list is getting longer for these drops, and I'm here for it. I like it.
Would you rather find the love of your life or $11 million? Damn. Fuck that. I'm gonna take that $11 million and make her fall in love. She gonna love everything I buy. Just like that.
Yeah, so Chris Brown's gonna take that money and make Tierra fall in love. Wouldn't that be something else?
Let's talk about the meat of what you're into right now, which is making Ty Simpson.
So let's move on to this Greg McElroy one.
All right, Dan, you lean into the tape don't lie processing. You're watching these guys at a slightly different level. So I always love getting your perspective because I'm watching it from a college production standpoint. You're watching it on not just a college production standpoint, but a projection standpoint as well. Let's start at the top with Fernando Mendoza. I absolutely love this young man. I think you do too. What is it about his game that has you so excited?
Yeah, I think he's a really good player, Greg. I think that he projects to be a good pro, a guy that I would put into the you win games with type of player. I think that when you look at like what he was, what he's going to be, one, the ability to just play your best football when it matters the most. He did that on a relatively consistent basis. Like games just that came down to that third or fourth quarter, he had to go make a throw. I thought that was a shining strength of his. I thought that his toughness, just physical toughness, hanging in the pocket. And I missed this throw before, but I'll hang in here and try it again. Strength. I think he's got a really short memory, not something that I had as a player. He's like, he very rarely allows what just happened to impact what is going to happen next. And then when he knows what you're in, he's going to gut you. He's very accurate when he knows what you're in. And so, I like this tape. I would tell you this, just honestly, there is stuff that I sit there and watch this tape and I go, all right, I don't get to see a lot of what NFL life is going to be like as a quarterback. There's a ton of RPOs. There's a ton of go balls and back shoulder fades. And there's a ton of man coverage. And like, it's kind of what I've talking about when he knows what you're in. He's really good. I would love to see more. I'm looking at this deep post. It's not there. And here comes this big crossing route and it's not there. And I got to get to the backside in. There's not a ton of that on his tape. And so I think that's a little bit of left to be desired for me. I think there's a lot of like his greatest superpower is he avoids disaster. He avoids bad decisions. There's great value in that. But then there's also moments where I'm like, I don't think you had to go number one to the check down that quickly. And so a lot of really good. And I don't know him, seems to be a great kid. So I think that if the Raiders take him, they're getting a good player.
Well, he's built the right way too.
Dan Orlovsky is he's not bashing Mendoza. He's not saying he's not going to go number one. He's just saying that he thinks Ty Simpson's going to move up in the draft, and people are losing their mind over it. And as far as move up, I mean, like, go higher than what was expected. I'm not saying move up and pass, go number one past Mendoza, just so we're clear. But what is up, Pinball? I hope you are staying safe on the road. Eric Jordan, I hope you're staying safe as well if you're on the road. So shout out to the CDL gang, the truck drivers, making the world go round. So shout out to y'all.
Like if you just see his weight distribution, like he's big in the lower half. Like for whatever reason, he's just put together. He looks like a pro guy. Yeah. I'm not saying he's Brady, that's another level. But there's a little bit of a build where it's like, okay, I can see where like he's a lot bigger than you realize.
Name brand, I disagree with you on this. I'm not disagreeing with how Dan performed in the NFL. I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I will disagree with is the fact that just because he didn't perform well in the NFL doesn't mean that he can't have something to offer. There's many players that did not play well, didn't start, but they turn out to be great coaches or great analysts. And you can take Nick Saban as one of them. Nick Saban played football. He wasn't the greatest, but he turned out to be a great coach. Now he's an analyst. You look like there's just so many that you could look at, and they don't always have to be like this outstanding player to be able to give feedback. And see, this is another thing too, is I've never played, but people, like, obviously there's going to be people who agree and disagree. There's pros and cons to everything, right? You're not always going to have somebody that agrees with you, but people like my feedback, even though I've never had experience on a football field and taken on, tackles and what have you. Like, even though I've never experienced that, people still like hearing me talk. So I don't necessarily agree with that comment, Name Brand. I do like Dan Orlowski's comments just because he does his homework, he does his research, he studies the film, he knows how to break it down. Like, he's seeing the differences and he's explaining it, he's giving evidence for it. It's not just some wild thought process that has no meaning behind it. I think the fact that he does his homework and has evidence to back it up is why I like his opinion. Do I agree with everything Dan Orlowski says? Of course not. But will I just write him off completely just because he didn't play well in the pros? Absolutely not. But that's my thought on that. But that was a funny comment from you. So shout out to you for that one.
Yeah, and I also agree with you. Like, the back shoulder fades, he does read leverage of the defender really well. But one thing I am curious about when you're not getting as much man, and maybe when you're able to overload some of the protection, and maybe RPOs aren't as much of an easy get out of jail free card, can he make that pure progression like you talked about? Like, we saw very little of it, but the accuracy is pretty unique for a guy that doesn't have the most is a little bit unorthodox with the release. Like, the accuracy is paramount, and it's so good. Hey, throws such a catchable ball too. So how much do you translate just the physical release out of his hand? How much does that translate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a big are you a natural? Does it look like you're a natural thrower of the football? You know, I think when we watch Josh and Patrick and Joe and some of these younger quarterbacks that you're like, oh, it just looks like, Matthew, you were born to just pick a ball up and throw it. And so I do think he's probably a little bit of the fine-tuned and mechanical. The way I kind of correlated to Greg in that regard is like there's a little Trevor Lawrence in there where it's almost, you can tell he's worked so long at the refining of it and the working on the release and whatnot. And also, like, even as a runner, I think there's moments when I watch him as an athlete, as a runner.
With Trevor Lawrence, I like that comparison.
And I feel the same way I do about Trevor. Like, sometimes it's almost robotic in a way, like stiff in a way where you're like, you're trying so hard to run rather than, you know, this loose kind of lateral athlete. But no, I think the ball, when that kind of goes back to, I do think it's the being fair, the ball placement and accuracy is awesome. But I think a lot of those times he knows who he's throwing to before he catches the snap. And so he's just getting himself into just great position and throwing posture. And then it's just like routes on air type stuff. So he's an impressive kid. There's no question about it. But he's not one of those guys that you're taking number one that is a Caleb or a Drake May, where there's some physical traits that are just remarkable, or some throwing talent that's just remarkable.
My bad, y'all. I don't know if you heard me getting a FaceTime call there, but I was getting a call. Sorry if you guys heard any of that. True, I'm just saying Dan has been wrong so many times on and off the field. Yeah, there's no question. And it's like I said, there's pros and cons to everyone. Like any type of analyst, you can look and see where people are right and where they were wrong. That's going to happen no matter what. No matter what analyst is talking, you're always going to see them make the right analytic remark, and then you're gonna see the ones that get it wrong. It's just part of it when you're talking sports. But just based off, you know, his homework, I think it speaks volumes, because he is studying this footage, and this is why people ask his opinion on it. Is they know he does his homework, he studies the footage like it's his own.
I don't see that.
Yeah. Now, I thought Drake honestly was a little mechanical coming out too. You know what I mean? But like almost like a little too good to be true. Like, I don't know what's up. Like this, I love this kid. Like, what's the deal? So I can see exactly what you're saying. So if he goes on to have a career that's up and down like Trevor, or a guy that's just on superstar ascent like Drake, neither would surprise me. I love the kid too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet against him. Moving on to the next guy, and Ty Simpson. And I'm curious your thoughts on this because I was watching him and I had to do something for Get Up where it was like I had to watch Fernando and then I watched Dante and then I watched Ty back to back to back. And sometimes when you watch them all together, it's so helpful.
Yeah.
I was more impressed with Ty than I had originally thought. And I actually think even if Dante had come out, I might.
When you go back and you watch the footage of Ty Simpson, you really see how impressive it was. And I can relate to this because I've talked about how when I watched growing up watching Tony Romo, I was so critical of Tony Romo. And then I started like watching I just picked up an interest in watching like old games, going back and watching old games that I grew up watching. And I started to realize, wow, I was really overcritical of Tony Romo. He was actually, a really good quarterback. He just didn't have an offensive line similar to Ty Simpson. Like, he's a great quarterback. Like, his offensive line wasn't the best. And so it's just interesting. Whenever you're getting a different perspective after you go back and you watch the footage, you see what you missed before. These backup quarterbacks on a run, I see.
have taken Ty before him, partly because of how good he was there in the middle part of the season. So now people are starting to warm up on Ty. I think he's going to end up hearing his name called earlier than most anticipated. What is it that you like about Ty Simpson and his projection?
I'm so much higher on Ty Simpson than probably the national media. I think he's far closer to QB2 and the conversation of those two guys rather than QB3. And I say this just for the context of how impressive his tape is. Because I'm not living in a fake world, but Greg, if he was 6'4", he'd be the number 2 pick without a doubt by the New York Jets. Or if he had 23 college.
Romo, I got a hankering for an apple turnover all of a sudden. Interceptions. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know if it was always like, there's always going to be plays that didn't work out so great, but overall, when you go back and you watch Tony Romo, you kind of just look at things different. And the same can be said with Jalen Hurts as well. Like that clip that I have in my intro where that guy was ranting about the Eagles and the cop shows up at his door thinking like, doing a welfare check to make sure he was actually okay. And he said, yeah, Jalen Hurts just turned the ball over 6 times. Some of those, I know exactly which game that was. Like, I know which ones he's talking about because if you go back and you watch that, some of those wasn't Jalen Hurts' fault. It was just unfortunate situations where the ball was deflected or, some bizarre circumstance.
Starts and because he played an extra 7 or 8 games and he played the way that we saw him play this year, he'd be the number 2 pick. I have no doubt about it in my mind. I think number 1, he is surgical on that in the those are NFL concepts worlds where I just talked about it with Fernando. There's not a ton of I read those 3-level fields and I got to get it up.
I believe he's referring to number 2 pick as a quarterback, not saying like he's going to go right after Mendoza. He's referring to number 2 in the draft as quarterbacks are concerned. So I think that's very well true. I don't think it'll be Carson Beck. And I'm trying to think of another one that was talked about too, which it's slipping my mind, but the top ones that were talked about the most was Mendoza, Ty Simpson, and Carson Beck.
Over underneath defender, but before a crashing safety or something like that. But I'm watching his tape. I'm like, oh, here comes another huge in that he holds the backside defender before he squeezes. Or here comes another big crossing route. Or I just his awareness and his ability to execute those at a really high.
Like you see these highlights that they're showing, and they're great plays. It's great arguments for what Dan Orlowski's talking about.
Clip and make the right throw. Sometimes you got to step on that in. Sometimes it's got to have a little bit of touch over that defender. And when you ask me what guy in this class has made the most NFL type of throws, I think it's Ty Simpson. I think he's really good with his feet in the pocket. He's a very natural stroke guy for me, like very natural throwing motion. I think he's got great control of the line of scrimmage. You can watch him use his eyes to move defenders or hold defenders. I think and then there's games for me, like Greg, again, this isn't one versus the other, but like I watched the second Oregon game for Fernando. It's 35-7 at halftime. I think he makes like one throw in that game, and it's 35-7 at halftime. You cut in like the Missouri game, the Wisconsin game, the Vandy game, the first Georgia game by Ty, and it's just rip after rip after rip. And so I'm very impressed with his
And this is
tape.
why
And
I believe I think he had more passing yards and less interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I know that Mendoza obviously won the Heisman, but let me just check real quick. Ty Simpson's stats versus Mendoza. I just want to see the passing yards. It's not showing me. Passing yards and interceptions. I'm waiting for an answer from Google. Give me a second. Okay, so this is what sets them apart, right? So, passing touchdowns, Ty Simpson had 28. He had 5 interceptions, but his passing yards was 3,567. Now here's Mendoza. Mendoza had less passing yards. He had 3,535, 6 interceptions, but he did have 41 passing touchdowns. So I think that's where he definitely got the Heisman, is the passing touchdown numbers. But Ty Simpson was more accurate because he had 1 less interception than Mendoza. He had more yards. And this was only in 1 year. He only played 15 games. So this was a short period of time for Ty Simpson to accumulate the same stats compared to Mendoza. It's interesting to me.
I agree. I think he's going to go maybe to a sneaky team, but higher than the national kind of thought process.
So how much of he did get banged up down the stretch. He was not surrounded by an outstanding supporting cast. The offensive line, I think, was very disappointing in certain spots. Center, I thought, was great. The rest, not so much. Yeah. How much do you attribute maybe the roller coaster in performance to the up and down nature of Ty's supporting cast?
It's a great question, and I think that this wasn't the Alabama of old. If we close our eyes and think of all the offensive talent that they had, or the dominant offensive lines that they've had, I would argue that in many moments and times they were carried by the quarterback. I had this conversation a little bit today because there's also the truth that, yes, the play fell off the final 4 or 5 games. Not to this cliff that people have kind of described it, but it didn't dominate the way it did in the first 8 weeks. And I had this little conversation with Daniel Jeremiah today, and I said, okay, those last 4 or 5 games, his performance falls off really when people are around him, when he had bodies around his feet. But that wasn't the case the first 8 games or so.
You're only as good as, a quarterback can only be as good as their offensive line. The offensive line has to be outstanding for a quarterback to be able to, make these plays and be outstanding. And whenever Alabama's offensive line fell off, it really showed, and it really hurt Ty Simpson. But I think that's all that I'm going to play of that. I think I'm going to cut the show because I'm ready to get some dinner, also need to work out, and I need to make a phone call as well. But hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. We're going to close out with a motivational video.
Watch out for frenemies. A frenemy is someone who they smile at you, but secretly they're competing with you. And if you start to kind of pull back the curtain on the psychology of it, they admire qualities in you that they wish they had. And so there's this initial admiration that starts the friendship, but over time they start shifting into envy. And that envy starts to turn into sabotage. They really want to be close to you because they're drawn to what you represent. But the irony is that the closer they get to you, that triggers their insecurity because it's reflecting back what they feel they lack. So they live in this weird contradiction. You know, on the surface they're supporting you, but there's this underlying resentment underneath it all. Can't have a true friendship with someone like that because there's a part of them that's secretly rooting for you to fall. Watch out for frenemies.
That's so true. Be careful with who is your friends, because sometimes they're really just frenemies. They act like they're supporting you, but underneath they're just jealous, and they don't want to see you win. They want to see you fall, and it would satisfy them if they see you fail. So be careful who you think is in your corner. Me and CDT Beats have talked about this, and I think I've talked about this with Creekree's chat as well, but there's been so many conversations, and I think on Your Average Logical Thinker on her channel, but we've had so many different conversations about be careful who you're around, because they're not always supporting you. So that's the motivation today, is just to be mindful of who you think's really supporting you, and always be taking notes and be observant, because if you're not, it could end up hurting you. I know in the past, like, and I'm sure we've all had experiences where we've thought somebody was supporting us and rooting for us, and then they either wanted us to see us fail, or they just, you know, was jealous and just completely started to ghost. But we're going to close it out on that note, and I will catch you in the next live Touchdown Tribe. Remember, if you would like for me to react or discuss a certain topic, join the Discord. I have a NFL Discord, and I have a college football Discord. All my links are on my YouTube channel in the description, so y'all can get all those links there. But thank you all for watching Touchdown Tribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.
I know that last night we let the liquor talk, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. I know that last night we let the liquor talk, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. I know that last night we let the liquor talk, but baby, something's telling me